Got to get my singing voice ready. Me, 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 me. There we go. Now I'm ready to start singing. All right. It says we are live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Caliber Corner podcast. We are at season 3, episode number 177. It has been approximately, seriously, literally 170 episodes since we had a Prepping 101 discussion. And so I thought maybe now's a good time to do so because we can kind of have a chance to take a look at lessons learned from the winter storm that a lot of people went through. And it may or may not have affected people on the panel, but looking at how people reacted to it and listening to some of the podcasts from some of our friends, it seems like it had a major effect on some of their lives. And then also as we get ready to go into the spring storm season, those of us that live in the flyover states, aka Tornado Alley, might want to share a few ideas for what we do to get ready for the spring storm season. And just some basics. There's a lot of basic things that people just were not ready for, especially in areas where the weather's pretty moderate or fairly warm. And then you get hit with that winter snap. And I mean, you know, I didn't hear about a lot of deaths happening, but there was just a lot of chaos and really caused a lot of problems for people. So anyway, we're going to go and get started with that. Before we do so, let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves and say hello. And we'll give a little shout out to people watching over on the YouTube side. First of all, I want to thank everybody for watching today. I appreciate you guys being here. And let's get this party started. So off to my left, we have another fellow Nebraskan, Defense Dad. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Defense Dad's got a cool YouTube channel. I want you guys to check it out. He's got a lot of great videos over there. You want to give us a little teaser over what's coming up, man? Any ideas on what the any little hints at what you're going to be making for the channel here soon?
Well, I've got a few new toys. They've been out and I need to shoot. A couple I have. I need to finish the videos on
All
those.
Right.
Haven't done a gun review in a while.
Now, we're not going to say what it is, but you're going to have a really cool little concealed carry piece coming up in a video soon, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right on. Okay, man.
Give me a little hint. I've already reviewed one of these on my channel before, but this one is now mine.
Yes, there we go. So you got to go check out the channel and try to figure out which one it is. Awesome. All right, also joining us, we got a little Squib load. Squib, how's it going? You got your cup of coffee yet?
No.
Are you trying to wake up today?
Yep.
Might need a pot, buddy. So, all right. Well, anyway, make sure you guys check out the Squib Load channel. He's got a lot of cool reviews, lots of great content, and it's always fun to go check things out. All right, let's see. Also joining us, we got a little Calaveras 32 special joining us from the West Coast. Calaveras, how's your morning going today? You doing okay?
Coffee's still brewing, so the morning will improve here shortly.
Yes. Let's get a couple cups down. You guys are always so tired in the mornings, man. I think you've been hanging out too late on other podcasts, pulling all-nighters, huh? Telling you guys, we're not in our 20s anymore. We can't do that like we used to. Well, some of you might be, but all right. Hey, Calaveras, you got a cool channel. You got any cool content coming up anytime soon? Any videos you want to talk about or anything you want to say?
I've got a few things that I've filmed. I need to do some editing on. I've got a few other product, reviews that I've got coming up. Some more holster stuff, some updates on some other projects that are more long term. Just need to kind of get my get my stuff in order so I can get it done because I've been slacking here the last couple of months.
I hear you, man. I know for me, it's just trying to get out to the range in decent weather. That's not either a mud pit or sub-zero, so I haven't had a chance to go to the range. But next week, I'll be coming out with quite a few videos. If you guys are patrons of mine, I'll be releasing them early. And I'm going to get out to the range. We've got some spring break coming up after this week, so I'm going to get out and get some serious range time. And I've got 2 or 3 rifles that need to be broken in. I've got a pistol that I want to test out. And so there's going to be a lot more gun content coming. But again, I've got a pretty good catalog. You check out the playlist. I'm sure you can find something fun to watch if you ain't got nothing going on. So, all right, Calaveras, thanks for joining us.
I feel for you guys. That's with the weather. We've been having a hell of a winter. That's right. I think it was like 35 for a low yesterday with like 68 for a high. And
dude, that'd be awesome.
I think
listen to this guy.
Wind gusts yesterday, I think hit about 5 miles an hour. So I mean,
oh my God,
really feel free here in California.
We were where I am. We bottomed out at 28 below zero without a wind chill, which wasn't even the coldest part of the state. I mean, it was just brutal. I mean, I couldn't deal with that on a daily basis. It's not fun. But we're supposed to crack up into the upper 50s. We're going to be in the upper 50s the whole week. barely going to dip below freezing, which is good. We got so much snow we got to get rid of. So, I'll tell you what, man, I'm ready for stuff to warm up. So, but I will say this: I did feel like myself, my family, that we personally were prepped and ready for just about anything. If the electricity goes off, I feel like we had all of our preps ready to go. So I felt secure. It wasn't as bad as up here as it was in some places, but all right. Also joining us, Rich White. Rich, how's your day going?
Getting attacked by a kitten.
That sounds like a rough morning. So if any gun tuber out there claims that they don't like cats, dude, they're totally lying. They are totally lying. Every gun channel owner is a cat fan. Just look at that. Look at that. Did you name the cat? Have you named the kitty yet?
Oh no, she's not going to be staying here. She's going to be going to her more permanent home later.
Oh, I gotcha. She looks pretty ornery, man. I might watch out. Yeah. I wish they would just stay that size, like have little miniature kittens. That'd be fun, man. Just keep it like that, like a little tiger.
Oh, there are miniature cat species.
Really? I had no idea. Oh, yeah. Sweet.
They're, you got the little pocket dogs that you can carry, like RL/Black Cat has, that you can carry in a purse.
I don't have dog. I have a real dog, so I wouldn't know. I don't like those people. I'm just messing with you. That's
why I said Black Cat. We all know Black Cat has the purse dog.
And then there's us dog owners that have Pomeranians. Yeah.
Well, there are cats that are that size too.
Oh my God, that is crazy. Yeah. All right, and let's see. Oh, Single Shot just dropped out. I don't know where he went, but hopefully he'll be back. Rich White, why don't you tell us about your show that you do, a little podcast that you got going on?
Which one?
Hey man, tell us about all of them. What are all the shows that you offer people? If they want something fun to watch, they want something interesting. What do you want? What do you have to offer, man?
Well, tonight at 9 p.m. we will have the classic wrestling show that used to be on Ellis's channel, but with him having his back issues and whatnot and not being able to stand to sit upright for long periods of time right now, I don't know if you know, Travis, he's got to have major back surgery.
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's got multiple discs and vertebrae in his back that are all screwed up. And he said that they have been for a number of years now. And the doctor, when he went to see the doctor the last time, looked at him, the specialist, and said, he looked at him and said, "How the hell have you been walking for the last 3 years?"
Oh my God.
I mean, he's in real bad shape right now. So
okay.
Say a prayer for him if you're a praying person, or if you got, I don't know if you got his number or not, send him a text, let him know that you're thinking about him at least, you know what I mean? Because he's in bad shape right now. So
okay,
we've taken over, and Kingpin and I have been doing that on my channel on Saturday nights. So you can find that tonight at 9. And next week there's not going to be a This Week Unloaded because they're doing I don't know if you know what a exploding barbed wire death match is, but it's one of the craziest wrestling matches that's ever come into concept. That is the match where Mick Foley lost most of his right ear. Was in one of those.
Oh my God!
You don't just have ring ropes; you have barbed wire going around the ring. There's explosives like tannerite rigged outside the ring, and then in the corners as well.
They got spectators for this? Did they have like in a plexiglass enclosure or what?
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh my
God! But wow, we've come a long way since George Animal Steel used to like gnaw on the corner.
This was big
on everybody,
These matches were big in Japan in the 80s and 90s. As far as I know, this is going to be the first one in the United States.
Somebody's going to die. I mean, there's no way around it. There's going to be some serious injury in this one. There's no way this could possibly not have somebody get.
This is one of the bloodiest wrestling matches that anybody's ever conceived of.
Yeah.
Now, the crazy part is, it's not the craziest. There was one, you know how the Roman Coliseum, they would flood the Coliseum and have mock naval battles? Well, they did that to a stadium in Japan and had one of these matches where the ring was surrounded by water.
They have like sharks in it or anything?
They had like naval mines. They made there were like naval mines in the water surrounding this ring.
Oh, good God, man.
The Japanese are crazy.
I think there's a whole other field of content that I need to start watching. Just when you think you've seen it all, I might have to return to wrestling. So
but anyway, this is going to be on AEW's next pay-per-view.
Okay.
So we were talking about this. I think it was last week.
Yeah.
And Kingpin just was like, "They're doing what?" It's like, dude, I will pay the $50. We can watch this and we can talk about.
Swear to God, the promoters have a dartboard of elements and they throw darts at it. And as they go left to right, they just put together a barbed wire, exploding mines, piranhas, yeah.
But
oh my God.
Yeah. So we're going to do a watch party. Basically, we're going to watch it using one streaming service. We can't stream the pay-per-view to YouTube itself, but we can stream us talking about the pay-per-view as we're watching it.
Sure.
So that's what we're going to do.
Dude, that's going to be awesome. Give me a link for that. I'll push that out on Instagram for you to let people know.
Well, that's going to be next week on
Okay. Well, just let me know anyway, because I'm crazy
Yeah.
busy, but I'll definitely let people know. So
yeah, that's going to be
cool.
next, instead of doing This Week Unloaded next Sunday, which is the Sunday program at 8:30 p.m. Normally, we're going to be doing this probably going to be starting around 7 Eastern.
You need to rename the episode This Week Exploded. Then have like a picture of like the mines and stuff.
But yeah, that's going to be interesting to say the least.
Oh man. Hey, I got to give a just a quick shout out to X Adam 1. He said for $5 super chat, man. Thank you so much. The butt crack of dawn. Dude, hardly we should be starting the show an hour earlier if you really want to get it early, Call it like the Bacon and Eggs podcast or something. I'll just sit there and make breakfast while we're live until we sit down to actually start. So, and quick reminder,
sure you'd be alone.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
hey guys, it's just me. All right, so today's sponsor is SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. Guys, make sure you take the exit off of Interstate 80. It's in the middle part of Nebraska. You can't miss it. Take the exit to Lexington. It's just on the right. Big old sign that says Pawn Shop. Stop in there, say hello to Stan. Check out the gun selection. Take something home. And as you know, SS Pawn will take care of your firearms needs. All right, let's give a little shout out to the YouTube side who is watching this morning. We've got DJ Play Nice out there. We got Vanessa Kitty out there. Tommy Gunn. Defense Dad's doing double duty over there and over here. Ecoda is there. G23's in the house. Ecoda says wrestling fake. I'm out. I don't know, man. Exploding Minds is pretty hard. Tannerite going off next to your head is pretty hard to fake. So
yeah, it's what I always say. You know what? So Spider-Man and Batman, but you watch that.
Ooh, shots fired. Let's see. We got who else is out there today? Big conversation going on. Next Adam on. E-Rock's out there also. He says that he has a Shih Tzu, but it's only because a relative died and he took care of it. It's okay. It's okay. We're not trying to shame on anybody that's an animal owner. I think it's awesome. Any dog somebody has, that's great, man. DJ Play Nice, Jason Stewart, Calaveras is over there and over here. Sam of Anarchy 92 is in the house. He says, "What's up, gun nuts?" M. Gabriel's out there saying, "Munchkins." Scott 79's watching today too. Young Gun 995 is with us. Good morning, Young Gun. Snake Doctor 78. Man, a lot of you guys are chatty this morning. This is good. Nice Strike's out there. He says yawn. Maybe he'll be joining us. I don't know. Jacob Eads is out there too. Man, hope I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, so let's get the discussion going. Before we get into, just some of the basic prepping items a person should have. And even if you're not, hardcore prepper, there are some essentials that you should have, especially if you went through any kind of a power outage. You start to learn quick that there's things that you realize that you need, that you absolutely must have. But what, any of you on the panel that experienced this or had any issues with it? I know I didn't personally, but Rich, I was going to say, did you guys deal with any kind of power outage at all? Did you guys get hit with some snow and some nasty weather or not?
We got hit with a lot of snow.
Did the lights stay on the whole time?
Yeah, amazingly, we did not lose power, and we were having ice storms on top of it.
Okay.
At one, until it all melted this past week, because we've been up into the 40s, 50s. We actually hit 70 on Wednesday.
Oh my God, no,
Yeah,
dude, I would love that. I want a sunburn so bad.
But right now, it's in the 30s right in rain right now. I do not want to go outside.
Okay.
I'd rather it be snowing than raining.
You got some of that Nebraska weather going on. 60 one day, 30 the next, 50 the next day, snow the next day.
That's West Virginia weather too, man. Trust me.
That is. I wonder if it's like East Virginia. I heard the weather's really nice over there. So yeah.
We didn't have snow. Okay, we had a parfait of snow, ice, snow, ice, snow, ice. It would alternate. We'd have a snowstorm, then we'd have an ice storm. Then we'd have a snowstorm. Then we'd have an ice storm. Then we'd have another snowstorm. At one point, we had between 2 and 3 feet of snow and ice, snow and ice, and snow and ice.
And has that been one of the worst weather, like one of the worst winters you could remember in your lifetime, or have you had worse?
No, I remember worse. The back in 96 and 92 in Pittsburgh were much worse. The late 70s growing up in Pittsburgh were much worse. Where in the 70s, the ice was so bad in Pittsburgh, we were using actual roads as sliding boards.
Let's see. X Adam 1 says, all the snow. I'm grateful for electronic devices and internet during these past couple weeks. Yeah, that's one of the few things to keep people just in touch with family and safe for the most part. I think it's a good thing. No, Vanessa, Kitty, I really don't want a sunburn. I'm just saying I want some sunlight, man. I just want some warmth. Tired of being chilly. So that's all I mean. Yeah, no, I understand. Sunburns are not a healthy thing to get. So especially me and my farmer's tan, I mean, it's terrible.
Just because it's not warm, don't think you can't get a sunburn.
Oh no, I've gotten it before outside in the snow, outside too. I'll put sunblock on my cheeks and my nose when I go outside.
It's crazy.
It's not a farmer's tan if you're not a farmer. I call mine a salesman's tan.
Salesman's tan? Okay, well, I'll call mine a teacher tan.
I've had worse sunburns from shoveling snow than I have from going to the beach during the summer. The snow, a lot of people don't realize this, reflects the sun, and when the sun reflects, it actually makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it does. It does. I don't know what they call it, the albedo. Albedo, the reflection is what they refer to it as.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's why you go outside and you have snow everywhere and you get sunblind, because the intensity of the light coming off that snow is so bad it'll blind you instantly.
Kind of the same situation when you're on the water too, right? You can run into that also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not quite as bad.
No,
because the water isn't white. If the white and the reflection of that white, almost pure white light back in your face, that's bad.
Yeah. Let's see. Vanessa Kitty says, where was that comment at? You were talking about Alaska in the early 80s. You ever see 20 feet of snow? No, and I don't want to. 2 feet a year is enough for me. 3 feet a year is plenty. Squib, I wanted to ask you real quick. Did you guys deal with anything in terms of just rough weather, cold temperatures? Did you guys get hit pretty hard or not?
Yeah, we got some weather. I mean, maybe not as we got plenty of snow, maybe not as deep as some other people, but we got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Electricity stayed on, no issues at all for you guys either, not super cold temperatures and stuff.
The electricity in Southeast Michigan goes out on a clear, sunny day with no wind.
There you go. You go.
The electricity here goes out, and it's one side of one street. It's not a whole town. It's not a whole area. The last time we had a big power outage was in 2003 when the lights went out. You weren't in this area for that, where everything is out. I mean, the neighboring country. That was when that tree fell over and hit the power line, and because of the spike, the computer system shut down everything. Yeah, and that was interesting. So I think that a little bit of weather, is it's kind of it should be expected, but not a tree falling over in Ohio.
Yeah, that sounds like the old town I used to live in. Like they'd have the grid go out. Half the town would be like literally across the street. They had power, but I didn't. It was terrible, man. Oh man. So we got. Hey, we got.
Of that story is know your neighbors, so you can walk across the street.
Yep. I did actually. That was the best part about it. So Foos, how about you? How did this first major Great Plains winter storm treat you? Now you're in Kansas. You're a little bit warmer than Nebraska. What's your take on it, man? Did it suck or what?
Wait, hold on. I am not in Kansas.
Or not? I'm sorry. Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Missouri. Oh my God. Okay, Kansas, Missouri. Same thing,
I'm in Missouri,
right?
Missouri. I'm in Missouri. That's much better than Kansas.
How'd it go for you?
We had rolling blackouts here in Kansas City. I was without power twice for maybe a total of an hour and a half. Like my temperature in my place didn't drop below a couple degrees.
Yeah, it'll stay pretty moderate.
I mean, but I went out and I was like, okay, so I went out and I grabbed my kerosene heater and brought that in. I didn't fill it up or anything, but there's a little bit in it, so I made sure that worked. And I have 15 gallons of gas, so like if I would have been out, I would have had a week or so worth of heat. So I've done that since the last ice storm, that I had down in Arkansas, where I was without electricity for, I think, 4 days.
Okay.
And I was like right on the main line.
So let's just get this out right now, because I got friends who live down in Texas, and I'm not talking about Never Enough Ammo Matt, who's down there, but I got friends that live down there. They went days and days without power. What, after day 2, what do you need to do to be safe, to be healthy? Because a lot of people don't ever experience a multi-day blackout, because after day 2, the fridge is probably going to be screwed. Your freezer is probably going to be defrosted, you know?
In this instance, we had a week of sub-zero temps or whatever.
Yeah, so you can put your food outside, right?
Yeah, exactly. Put it out in the garage. Put it, put the stuff in the fridge out in the garage, and then stick your other stuff outside.
Maybe put a cooler if possible to protect it from
But-
freezing and breaking, right?
But guys,
Yeah.
how many of your average ordinary people are so clueless they wouldn't think to do that?
Well, that's why we're having this
Oh,
discussion today, so that kind of thing doesn't happen. That's really because my buddy has a couple kids and stuff, and I was trying to give him some tips and advice, because they went 4 days, and there's just so many little things you don't think of that pop up, charging the phones, and you can go out to your car. Well, yeah, you can, but you might not want to leave your $1,100 iPhone out in a running vehicle in the middle of
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of things that people run into, but I would say after 2 days, you got to make sure you've got your water lined up. You want to make sure you got your food someplace secure and safe.
Oh, yeah.
And with water, what a lot of people don't realize, like, oh, I'm without water. What do I do now? You could drain it out of your hot water tank.
Yeah, we've mentioned that every time we have a
40, 50,
prepper
60
discussion.
gallons.
You got that little valve on the bottom, and it might not taste that good, but it's drinkable.
If you got a big enough bathroom, when we lived at the old house, we used to do for flushing the toilet and wash, if you wanted to wash, we had 55-gallon drums. We had 2 of them if we knew a bad storm was coming in, because when we lived on the old place, we would lose power to drop of a hat because of all the trees and everything. So we lived back in the middle of nowhere. A branch falls on a tree, that takes the electric company 2 days to find the damn thing, because they don't know where to look, right? So we would have these 2 55-gallon drums in our bathroom, because the bathroom was big enough, and we would use the garden hose in through the window, and we would fill these drums with water, that not for drinking, for flushing the toilet and for like sponge bathing and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people that did fill up their bathtubs just for toilet water.
Vanessa Kitty's got some good advice here. She was saying that
toilets do not need electricity to run.
Yeah,
it's all gravity.
Yep. But if you're on a pump and not city water, and you don't have electricity, you're not getting water into that toilet.
Yep.
Let's see. X Adam 1 says, saw people doing that with snow online. It's literally outside and free. Vanessa Kitty said, we had power. What was it? For 4 days, you were without power for 4 days. Freezer stayed frozen. Yeah, just don't open it. Use the foods that are already thawed. Yeah, get everything out and set it out, and kind of do a little assessment on what needs to be refrigerated and what doesn't. DJ Play Nice says, water, fill the tub, the sink, extra bottles, get a safe cooler jug is a smart move too. The big thing with my friend, it was like they didn't really, and I'm not trying to rip on him, but he didn't really plan ahead for food, especially for breakfast items and stuff like that, things you could make without electricity. Didn't have milk. They couldn't go anywhere because there was no snow removal services going on. They didn't have a vehicle capable of getting through a foot of snow. They didn't have a lifted pickup with 4-wheel drive or anything like that. So, just the basics. If you know something's coming in, do the bread and milk thing, all right? Go to the store and pick up some peanut butter, or, pick up something that's going to be, shelf stable. Cases of water are a good idea. And I'm sure people were probably doing that, but a lot of people didn't, and they were like freaking out about it online,
So think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Go camping in your backyard for a week and don't go inside your house, and only use what's inside your house. Or actually go take a weekend, go camping, but don't shop or anything before you go. That will show you what you have and what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Because camping, yes, it's your choice. You get to go whenever it's nice and stuff, but that will teach you what you need to prepare and be able to live for days.
Another good one, if you've got a patio and you've got a grill, go buy yourself an extra propane tank and get that before the storm. You should always have one spare tank at least, and then make sure you keep your tank filled up every year so you can cook food or heat water outside if you need to.
Yeah,
right?
We had propane tanks just in stack of them if bad weather was coming in, because not only did we use that for the grill for cooking, instead of having a kerosene heater, we had a heater that was like a kerosene heater, but it ran off of propane.
Yep. Also, you could get the like candles. I have old oil lamps and stuff. You could also have a for lights. You could go off your big bottle to a smaller. It's like a little tube or whatever. They'll convert it from your big bottle to something smaller, so you could run a light off of propane as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, candles are a good one. I've got a couple flats of tea lights that I bought. They don't take up a lot of room. I got like some. When we were at IKEA a couple of years ago, I bought a couple 100 count flats of tea lights because one will stay lit for like 4 hours, and there's 100 of them. So if I want to just light one, just to have some light in the kitchen instead of trying to find a scented candle, like if you got scented candles, you want to put like a dozen of them in your house and light them up. I think that would be pretty crappy after a while. But tea lights don't have any kind of smell to them, so they're just little tiny discs.
So go to Walmart. Go to Walmart and you can get these old oil lamps for like $4 or $5. It's this real. It's not they're old. They're like a real cheap sheet metal. But then you can get a couple wicks and then some oil, and that will last weeks upon weeks upon weeks. And
I never thought about that. You can still buy those, can't you? They're in where they have like the fragrances and potpourri and stuff like that. Yeah, they still sell those. That's something I never thought of. Yeah.
Like I got one from Walmart, and then a friend of mine, when she was moving, she had 3 and had like 4 or 5 quarts of oil that she just gave me. And the ones she gave me were like the real old ones, the actual pure glass ones and stuff like that. So yeah, I've just been carrying those around. So,
and flashlight. I'll have plenty of flashlights. This one here, I have like 6 rechargeable batteries for this one. The last time we lost power for days at the old house, I had this hanging from the ceiling, and it was enough to light our living room. And
you can put it on like Firefly mode or low mode, and it'll last so many hours. You can get days and days of runtime out of it. Not 24 hours of runtime, but nighttime. Yeah.
This one on medium setting will run 24 hours.
Okay.
That's like 600 lumens.
Yeah,
that's enough to light your living room.
Even if they're cheap flashlights, I have one in literally every drawer in every room because I could be walking and the power could go out and it could be pitch black. And, I have one in the bathroom. I got one in the kitchen, one in the other bathroom, the bedrooms. Yeah.
I got a couple that I picked up at Tractor Supply. I think they were like between $5 and $10. And they're the ones that have, I think they hold 3 AAA or 4 AAA batteries. I haven't changed the batteries in those things, and I bought them like 3 years ago when we first moved here. And
the key for that,
they're great little lights. So
the key for that is the LED light.
Yeah.
All right. Lots and lots of good advice coming in on the YouTube side here. We've got Vanessa says, always store Dragon's Milk Stout in the cellar. Play cards under the candlelight. Yeah. Tabletop games are a good idea to have around. Have like a Connect 4, Monopoly, Uno. Especially if you got kids, you're going to have to try to entertain them, or if they're just getting impatient.
If you got teenagers, Monopoly will kill many hours.
Yes.
One game.
Teach them about good old-fashioned American capitalism there. Let's see what else we have here.
Will kill many hours and destroy many families.
But it's worth it.
If you got more nerdy, geeky kids, Dungeons and Dragons will kill many hours as well.
Exactly. Oh yeah, just bust out the old role-playing games.
Teach them how to play rummy. That'll kill.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good one, man. Yeah.
And if you're like, all right, let's not go to 500, let's go to 1,000 points, and boom, your evening or 2 evenings may be shot, maybe done. People are like, oh, I'm going to get a gas generator or whatever. All right, that's cool and all, but do you have extra gas for it? People are like, well, no. I'm like, well, do you have a siphon to pull out of your gas tank?
Yeah. Or get a couple 5-gallon jugs and fill them up in the early spring before the spring storm season comes in, or gets them in the fall.
Yep.
You can let them sit for what 3, 4, 5 months and then use them up.
Well, get them in the spring and use them for your lawnmower over the summer, and then put them into your gas tank in the winter. That's why I did. Is like before I got this one that has a 36 gallon tank, I would have extra 15 gallons, and I would just fill them up, and then at the end, like I'd fill them up in the spring, empty them into my car in the mid fall, and then I'd fill them up again.
Yeah.
And I would just do that all the time. But now, I mean, I've gotten out of the habit of that because this thing has 36 gallons, and I never get under a half tank. So I know I always have, 15 plus gallons in this thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. See some advice here from MN Mike B. Maybe that's Minnesota Mike B. Watch for old grills and grab the tanks if they have one. Take and exchange it for a new full one at a gas station. So go to like a garage sale if you see somebody selling a grill for $10 or $15, and because I think a brand new filled propane tank is what, like $60 these days, $50 to $60 for a brand new one. I think the refills are like $20 at Walmart. Yeah.
Well, you can even, and if you don't want to swap out at Walmart, go to a propane place and have them refill it, and they'll actually refill it fuller than what they're allowed to sell at Walmart. Because the ones at Walmart and Home Depot and stuff, they're not all the way full. They
the Blue Rhinos or whatever the company is that does that. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's right.
They fill them up. They fill them up to a certain poundage, but they're not full. If you take them to a propane spot, then they will fill them up more full than what you'll get, and they'll be cheaper.
Yeah, we have a farm co-op where they would do it for like $12. I think they would fill up your tank for you, and it would last me the entire summer. I mean yeah.
Yeah, that's the way we did it. We
propane. Propane is a good idea. Okay, water. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the those tanks that we had stacked on the porch. They were full because there was a gas station that did the propane, and that's where we would take them to get them refilled.
Okay. Vanessa Kitty says, carry clothing needed for various temperature ranges and weather. Yeah, I do that in my vehicle because in Nebraska we have these massive extremes like in the fall and the spring. And we could have, 30, 40, 50 degree temperature difference in one day. So I'll usually have a lot of extra warm clothing in the car, especially for road trips and stuff like that. And enough for my spouse too, because, you might want to have an extra hat, gloves, blanket, stuff like that. X Adam 1 says, canned foods are a lifesaver. I do need to pick up a small propane tank and a portable range. You can provide heat and cook. Yeah, there you go. Just don't do it in your house, though.
Shelf-stable milk.
There you go. Yeah, it comes in just the vacuum sealed cartons or whatever. Yeah, like the old squeeze boxes, juice boxes.
It's like the boxes that the it looks like the Swanson the broth box, right? But it's actually it's 2%, I believe, shelf-stable milk. I think they have a 1%. And in the winter, you've got to refrigerate them after you open. But if you don't have power, if it's the winter, you just stick it outside. It's going to be, if you're somewhere where it's going to be cool, especially the weather that we've been having in the Northeast and then down through Texas and over into Nebraska and all that, where you've been every day it's been below freezing, whether you've been in the below zero or not, it's been below freezing everywhere.
Yeah,
Hey, a few days ago, it hit 70 degrees here in Kansas City.
Yeah, we hit 70 on Wednesday.
We had 60 or 54 or 55 or 60, I think, the other day when I came out. But that's the warmest it's been in months, man.
Wednesday was the first day I had to turn the air conditioner on during winter this year. Usually we have, if it's it'll get the past couple of years into the 40s, and then in a couple of days we'd get down into the 30s. But our neighbors, because of the way the building is designed, the heat will come through the walls. If it's 45 to 50 degrees out, we're turning the air conditioner on because it gets too hot in here. This year, we didn't have that issue.
Oh, yeah. Let's see, Vanessa says, camp from your vehicle. Practice teaches you. Yeah, especially if you got to bug out, if you have to leave, or if there's a problem with the house, or, And now another thing for prepping go ahead.
And, heating your vehicle is a lot cheaper than heating your house.
This is true. Just letting it sit there and idle.
Yeah,
so long as you got access to gas, though, because my buddy, their gas stations were empty for 3 days. They ran out a day or two before the storm. Most of the pumps did. So, yeah.
So another thing is grab go to a medium-sized room, shut the doors and everything, and only heat that one room. You don't have to heat your entire house. Like the tea lights, you can make little heaters out of those that will heat a room. They won't heat a house. Go to the master bedroom. Go to a kid's room.
Go to your bathroom.
somewhere.
Throw a blanket down because it's small. It'll retain heat better than a bigger room. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have kids and stuff, you're not going to be able to go to the bathroom.
So here's one, and here's something I didn't deal with. I did not deal with as a homeowner, but I had friends that did recently. Water lines freezing. What can you do? The problem they had in my friend's neighborhood in Texas is the water lines, the water heater, and the freaking heat pump system is in the attic with very little insulation. That's how they built the houses. It maximizes floor space, and that's how every house in the neighborhood is built. Now, I can't imagine swapping that out. How do you get that out if you ever have to change it? Because that attic door is not big enough to get a heat pump system. They built that before they put the roofs in on the house. So my buddy was up in his attic with a blowtorch heating the water lines that go up across and down because they were freezing because the attic was below zero or at zero. So what do you do? Yeah.
You turn on your water a little bit.
Yeah. But the problem is everybody else in town was doing that, and there was no pressure, so there was no drip.
Yeah, if you don't have anything if you don't have anything flammable, put a small torpedo heater up there pointing at the. And
there was no electricity, so it didn't matter. They had to worry about. They had
torpedo heater runs on propane or kerosene, so you put
one of those. Is that safe for monoxide levels in an attic? I mean, not to worry about it drifting down.
Well, attics are drafty anyway.
Yeah, it is. He's got a vent shade thing in it, so
that'll ventilate it.
So if you're worried about that, you open up your valves, your faucets and stuff. Gravity, even if there's no pressure, gravity will allow
a drip through. Yeah.
Yeah. So you go to the top, and there is an air valve on the top of those that you can open up to let air into the tank, and it'll flush all that out. And yes, you won't have water in your tank, but you also won't freeze either.
Well, a problem you can run into those. There's people that have water lines under their house that's not underground in a basement. It's the underlying, for people that don't have a basement, but the lines are underneath the foundation, or they've got maybe a trailer. I mean, that can seriously be an issue because you've got nothing protecting those lines from freezing.
When we lived
in the ground, the line's going to be fine because the ground won't freeze more than an inch or two underground. So, like the ones in crawl spaces.
Wait. What did you say about how far underground?
Well, a few inches.
No, the frost line is 42 inches. The frost line is 42 inches.
No, I didn't. I thought it was a lot shallower than that.
Is that across the country, or is that just in Michigan?
That's in places where we get snow and stuff. If I was going to go buy a house and the water heater was in the attic, I'd turn around and walk out. The reason the attic is ventilated is to prevent ice dams. The attic is always going to be cold in the winter. You want cold air in there. If you get hot air in the attic, that's bad in the winter.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree totally. Yeah.
And I understand that's the way they do it there because they're not expecting it to be cold.
Barely gets below 30.
The way they do a shingle roof there, they're not doing it set up for ice and snow, and I'm sure they've got damage from that and stuff. This is a rare occurrence there, but you're going to have to change building codes in Texas to match Michigan in order for them not to have frozen pipes again and these sorts of things. And they're not about to do that. They're not about to pay the higher prices or remodel houses. You're not going to see anybody take their water heater out of their attic because of this. They're just going to put another one right up there. And when this happens again in 10 years, they're going to have the same problem.
They're going to have to pull the roof off.
If you do not have a properly ventilated attic in the winter in a cold climate, you will get ice dams and you will be tearing that roof off.
What they could do though is
if you build one, make sure it doesn't. Make sure that you don't have best play. That's the best time to fix all this stuff is if you build your own place.
Go ahead, Defense Dad.
The extremes.
I was just going to say what they could do. Like my stepbrother, they're from Nebraska, but they are recently transplanted down to Corpus Christi, and they bought a house. And what they can do, if they do a little bit of foresight, and I think a lot of people do this afterwards, is they'll treat their pipes in their house like someone who lives in a trailer house up here does. Get those pipe wraps that you can have. You still got to have electricity on them, but assuming you still have electricity source, you can keep those from freezing. Because Squib's right, the codes down there are a lot different. They don't have to deal with the kind of stuff we do, so they just don't build the houses to spec. But if you have a little bit of ingenuity, you can literally treat your pipes like you're on a trailer house, and how you keep those from freezing up here in Nebraska.
Yeah, they've got the heat tape and those sorts of things, but you're going to have a couple generators or one really big generator or something like that. So if your whole house generator is only enough to power your house, you might want to get something a little bit bigger if you're going to count on that heat tape.
Yeah, and if you live down there, just be honest, you're going to deal with tropical storms and everything. I would guess most people have a generator, because they've been down there.
No. I lived in a hurricane zone now I'm getting older now. A quarter of my life, we never had a generator. The power went out for 3 days or a week. We just went without power for a week. It's not hard to do. It really isn't.
Well, when it's warm, it's not. I mean, it's going to get hot in your house and stuff, but you can still keep yourself cool.
They're warm down there compared to up here.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. It's just some crazy stuff. So for the basics, again, plan ahead, right? So we're talking about some propane, some water, some light sources. Batteries were another big one. I heard a few of our YouTube buddies complaining about having trouble, keeping the cell phones charged or having to go put them out in the vehicle. I'd recommend people look into one of those big power stations that you can buy now. I was looking at them on Amazon. They've got the 80,000 milliamp ones that have standard plugs on them, USB-C, regular USB, 80,000 milliamps. That will charge my phone 25 times, right? And it's got the wireless charging pad on the top, and they're less than $200, and you can power, quite a few. They supply up to 350 watts. And I can't remember how many amps it is. I want to say maybe up to 12 amps of juice.
Yeah, they have them where you can run a computer off of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which won't matter much if you don't have internet. But if you at least need to plug a phone in or plug something in to heat, Yeah,
if you have a computer, you can still watch movies and stuff on it. So it's still providing entertainment.
Or if you have multiple people in the house, they have the little portable ones, like $20 to $40. You can get them too. So. And
then also just having little power bricks.
Yeah. Tesla has backup batteries for your house.
For the house.
I'm losing you guys.
Yeah, I've seen that Tesla system. I don't know much about how it runs and how it works. I don't know much about generators either, other than just what I've seen at the stores, like the gas generators. But so you buy one of these generators. Let's say you get just one that's mobile, right? How do you even, you're going to have to run a line into your house somewhere, which means having a window open or having a door open the whole time. Can you get the generator set up so you can plug it into your home to provide voltage through some sort of an outlet in the home?
You can, but you have to modify. It depends on how you're going to do it.
For code, I could imagine building code, what you'd have to go through to do something like that.
You can run them through your circuit breaker box.
You have to have a transfer switch.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah.
If you don't, and there's an electrical worker out there on the power line, you could electrocute them.
Okay.
Like my folks out on the farm,
they have to disconnect your house from the grid.
But if you're going to do that, and you have computer systems in your house, you definitely want to get those battery things that we were just talking about, because the
APC makes a battery backup. They make a battery backup you can plug into your computer that gives you a couple minutes of runtime.
I'm talking about if you're going to run a generator through your battery, because the power that's going to be generated by the generator,
it's not clean.
It's not clean. Yeah, you're going to fry your computer systems if you don't have them plugged into one of those. A surge protector is not going to do it. You want one of those battery packs that'll clean power, and you won't fry your computers.
Defense Ed, what were we going to say now? Go ahead. You're talking about your parents.
I was just saying, my folks, they live, on a farm, and they lose power often enough. They do have one of those, like on their furnace, they have it so they can set up and hook up the generator to it. Because if you lose power and you don't have that set up, you're not just going to plug your furnace. Unless it's set up for you, you're not going to just plug that in to your generator. But you can, if you have a big enough generator, you can run a couple, 2 or 3 extension cords in through the house and just power, cycle of things. They take a turn, charging or running the fridge or the freezer every so often. But it's you got to have it properly set up if you're going to run the main utilities in your house off of it.
Yeah, which is all you want to do. If you have a generator going into your power line, don't power your whole house. Power your refrigerator. If you have an electric stove, use it for that. Maybe your microwave. but that would be about it. You don't want to power the whole house because the generator's not going to produce enough power to do that.
Yeah, and I was also going to say, it's like you can get those, if you have multiple people in the house, and if you're multiple, if you have kids, you're trying to keep them, occupied. You can get those between $20 and $40. Those individual solar power banks, and like I have one of those I use out in the range to charge my phone up if I'm running low, and they work pretty dang good actually.
Yeah, and another thing you can do is when it comes to the furnace aspect of it, if you have a gas furnace, they have thermostats now for those that have battery backup. So you can still run your furnace if you don't have power.
So there's a lot of possibilities there. It's just neat. We're discussing this. There's a lot of stuff here I didn't even realize that we had. Ghost Shadow says, turn off the water into the house, open all the faucets, pour RV water system antifreeze into the pipes, sinks, and toilets. A Sun kerosene heater will work to help keep the house or attic from freezing. Yeah, if you can power that off of a generator. Yeah, definitely got to watch the watts, though, and the amps of your generator so you don't overdraw, because then it's just going to – the protection circuits are going to cause it to shut down. But yeah, what do you think about that, Squib? What do you think about this? That sounds like a pretty good idea, too.
So I used to have a cabin up north where it gets a lot colder, and we weren't there every weekend. So on Sunday, before we'd come back downstate, that's exactly what we would do. We would shut off the water, open all the faucets, and dump RV antifreeze down the toilet, down the drains, down everything. Even then, I did have a pipe separate at a solder joint, and I didn't have stuff to solder it. I actually found an epoxy. You could clean off the pipe. I think what I ended up doing was I cut it and I cleaned it off, and I put in another section, and I epoxied that pipe back together. So even if you're a little bit leery about soldering, which is so easy to do, or you don't have equipment, there are ways to repair it. We didn't have any heat tape or anything else like that for the cabin, but we did have a wood burning stove. If we didn't have power for the furnace, we could heat the place that way. I remember one weekend I went up and we did lose power, and I was actually going out back and getting snow and melting it on pots on top of the wood burning stove, and I was able to draw a warm bath with it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So there, I mean, water filtration aside and other stuff like that, you got to get kind of creative. I mean, for example, if you've got a kerosene lamp or you've got candles and you have any sort of mirrors, if you put mirrors around that, you increase the light. You actually start reflecting and making more light that way. That's a little trick we would do if a hurricane would come through and we'd be out of power for a couple days. We'd set up a little thing with mirrors, and it's a little project for mom to do with the kids too, to keep them occupied and stuff. And I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. The thing is, though, I still think people are going to be hesitant to do anything to prepare for the next snowstorm down there, because how often does it happen?
Well, as long as they got ample warning, if they say, hey, we're going to get this coming in, I think this time around, I think more people would be getting their gas and getting their food and getting their water, and, because that was the biggest complaint, is people complaining about and then the other problem too is the grocery stores lost electricity down there for several days. So all the stores in my buddy's area, anything that was frozen or refrigerated, gone. It's all total loss.
That's another thing. I don't care whether you live in the deep south or the far north or whatever it is. You should always have plenty of food in your house. And you could say, well, yeah, but it's refrigerated or frozen. It's only going to make it so many days. You can get a fridge to last a day. You can get a freezer to last a couple days.
Pack ice in it.
What's that?
So you pack ice in it. If you're in the middle of
ice packs.
Fill bags of snow and throw the snow in your refrigerator. Your refrigerator will act just like a cooler.
Yep. But in addition to that, though, you should have a fair amount of canned food, or food that you can just add some water to or something like that. I'm not necessarily saying Wise Food or MREs or something, but I mean, you could literally make spaghetti with just, water, noodles, and a jar of sauce. It might not be a gourmet meal, but there are lots of
doesn't matter when you're hungry.
ramen noodles, simple
Hey,
stuff.
shelf-stable mini French pancakes, right?
Yes. I mean, and there are people that go, I'm not going to keep enough canned food in the house, or I'm not going to eat this bland, cold. But all right, if you don't have power for a week and the grocery stores aren't open, and you're not going to go somewhere else, then that's what you're going to have to do.
No complaining when DoorDash isn't running. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and here's something too. Like, just something people don't think about these days. I am in an apartment, but guess what? I've got a wood burning fireplace. Have a good cast iron skillet and a Dutch oven like you would have for camping. And if you can make a fire, you can still cook and boil water.
You can buy a
you can make s'mores. I'm coming over, Dee.
You can buy a simple Coleman propane stove. It works off one of those little green canisters.
Little canisters, yeah.
I use that to warm my hunting blind. It's not as good as a heater, but it costs less money. And get this, I can cook food on it. I mean, these are simple, inexpensive things that don't take up a lot of space and that anybody can use.
If you want pancakes, just get yourself some of those little.
Just be careful with that wood.
Get yourself some of those jugs of the Bisquick.
Just be careful with that.
Just add the water and you shake it up, and then you pour out the pancake batter.
Mm-hmm.
And you can fry yourself up some pancakes.
That's true. With that stove idea.
Go ahead, Calvers.
Okay, see if I can get this stepping on me. With that stove idea, that that Squibs thing, heat and hunting blind. Just be careful. Don't do that in your house because that is carbon monoxide poisoning waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, I do. I've used it on the back deck. And somebody might go, well, it's cold outside. Well, it's going to be cold inside, too, if you ain't got heat, But there's certain things that you can do. I mean, who here hasn't gone out and lit the grill in the middle of winter? I've been out there defiantly cooking steaks in a snowstorm.
Oh, yeah. Grill in a parka, man. Come on.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing, too, is if it does get cold, I realize that you're trying to keep your pipes from bursting and things like that. But you can literally layer up. You can wear 3 layers of clothes. Walking around the house with a winter coat on looks stupid, but it'll keep you warm. I've done it.
Well, the reason I brought up the just simple thing of having like a cast iron skillet, a lot of people don't anymore because a lot of people have glass top stoves and those trash your stoves. A lot of people don't have a pot and pan they can put in the oven right now. So if you're going to be able to cook in a fireplace or someplace, you got to have something that's all metal. But just have one of those around. And
a gas stove works with power outage.
Yep.
Your furnace needs electricity, but your gas stove does not. You can go, well, it's got a sparker on there. Yeah, you could get a lighter. No. Yeah. Yep.
Real quick here. Here's an interesting point. X Adam 1 says,
sure, as long as.
Go ahead, Calvers. I'll go after you. Yep.
As long as you have an old school gas stove, yes, with an electric igniter, you can light it with a match or a Bic lighter. There are some of the fancy, quote unquote, gas stoves that I've seen that even on the top burners utilize some sort of thermostat so that, for control. Those ones require electricity.
Oh,
so if you have an old school style that's just plain on off
knobs,
those you can use without electricity.
Calaveras, I think there must be a lag with your internet. I think that's why everybody's stepping on you. I mean, there's usually a lag between all of our connections, aren't there?
Yeah, a few seconds. I mean, well, sometimes when we're all just both 2 or 3 of us are talking at the same time, but it's all right. It's all right. We're good. We can. If I hear him start to talk, I can quiet down so he can speak. He might be a couple seconds behind us. So, real quick here, X Adam 1 says no one has mentioned vehicles. I found out that my car wipers froze. Fluids froze. I didn't know to lift the wipers prior to snow and ice. Power steering froze in an emergency for evacuating. So that's another one. You can get those little ice guards that you can put over your windows. It's just like a little canvas that goes over it. It's plastic. And it has little magnets to keep it on. And it's got little flaps that will keep it inside your doors. And lift up your wipers. And so if you have to leave, right, I mean, you can let your car warm up for a little while. Open your door. You pull that ice guard off. You just shake it a couple times, throw it in your back seat and go. I used to use one all the time before I had a garage for my Jeep, so I was always parking it outside. And especially if the scraping is so annoying in Nebraska, you have to scrape every morning for like 4 months when you go to work. So having one of those little ice blocker things for the windshield came in really handy.
Yeah, those are nice. I use one at work all the time. It's basically made out of tent material.
Yeah, especially if you're going to get an ice storm, they're really handy because it's gonna at least your front windshield is going to be safe. So you don't have to go there and chisel it out when you get off of work at 4:00.
It's got to be really cold to freeze all of that stuff. Now, you can buy the regular washer fluid. It's inexpensive, or you can buy the more expensive that works in like sub-zero temperatures. I keep both. I run the blue stuff in the summer. I run the clear or the green or the orange, whatever brand I get in the winter. And I just eat the slight extra expense to get the better washer fluid. Another thing is, if you aren't used to having your driveway freeze or the street in front of your house freeze, you might want to keep some rock salt. Now, you can use the water softener salt, but it's not as good as actual like halite. Now, that'll work down to 5 degrees, though. If you're up here, I recommend that you keep a little bit of both. You keep some halite for your regular salting of your driveway. It's less expensive and it works. And depending on what kind of snow or ice you get, you want those bigger crystals. But I also recommend you keep some calcium chloride or some sort of blend between rock salt and either magnesium, potassium, or calcium chloride. It costs more money, but it works in sub-zero temperatures, and it's not as bad for your vehicle and the threshold on your door and things like that. I'm not saying always use the $20 a bag stuff. But we get one bag of it. You know?
We get the sidewalk de-icer that's got the Roadrunner on the bag. They sell that at Walmart.
Yes, that is some of the best stuff.
I buy. And if you check this, guys, I mean, what happens is in the springtime, Walmart will clearance that stuff out for like 50 cents a bag.
Yep.
Buy it all because it will keep for a year. Problem I had with the rock salt was that between summer and winter, I bought a bag of rock salt because we ran out of that stuff in Nebraska. We had a really rough winter a couple years ago, and you could not get sidewalk de-icer if your life depended on it. And, you got to keep your sidewalks clear. I had a wicked driveway I had to keep clear. I had a horrible walkway at the end of the house that would ice over. And so I bought a bag of that salt. Well, I used it, and then, like, the next fall, that salt had turned into a giant block.
So what you do with that, what you do with that is you drop it on the driveway and you stomp it. Stomp it with boots.
Dude, it was like a brick, man. I was like,
you can reconstitute it. What I do is in the when I'm sure or I'm fairly sure that I'm not going to need to salt the driveway, or we're not going to get another freak snowstorm late in the season. I take the snow shovels, I take the leftover ice melter, I take the winter de-icing washer fluid and stuff. I take it to the storage unit and I put it away in the storage unit for the beginning of next year, and then I grab the patio furniture and bring that home, and I just rotate the stuff out. Now, if you live in a southern climate, you might go, I'll never need that stuff. It's not a bad idea next time you're up north visiting your Yankee friends to pick up a bottle of Sub-Zero washer fluid. It's not going to go bad. It's not going to break down, not work for you. And if you don't want to use water softener salt, you can get some, like you at the Walmart, the Roadrunner blend. Scottwood Industries, that's their probably their flagship ice melter, and that works in Sub-Zero temperatures. They offer other stuff. You can get that stuff in 20 and 40 pound bags if you don't have a lot of arm strength and you don't want to lift something heavy, and just having a little bit of that might be the difference between you slipping on the front steps of your house, slipping on somebody coming over to visit you and you don't see it. It's called black ice, and they slip and fall and crack their skull.
I literally had a cardboard box, like a milk box, that I sat at the top of the stairs, and it said slick stairs, because when I was at work, like, it would refreeze and I couldn't get it to thaw, or I'd get it to thaw. And, you gotta get that cleaned off, but then, like, the gutters and the snow would drip and stuff, and it would freeze on the front stairs. So I had a box up there. So, like, the UPS person would know, or the FedEx guy knew, because they'd always put boxes up by our door. It's like, here it is. This is what we got. So, I mean, you try your best, but I also lived in a town that didn't really enforce. At the time, I lived in a town that didn't really enforce sidewalk clearing requirements at all. There was none of that. Like, there are people who have snowpack sidewalk for 4 months, and
You got to get people out there in YouTube chat saying, well, they don't sell that stuff here. The internet, man. In this age of internet, you can buy anything anywhere just about.
It's kind of heavy to ship out. This is another reason why I drive instead of fly. When I'm somewhere, I can just put it in the bed of the truck or in the trunk of the car and bring it back, because we ain't got that in Michigan. But somebody out there says calcium chloride rusts aluminum wheels. It will if you bury them in it and let them set there all winter, yes. But overall, calcium chloride is less corrosive to aluminum than salt. In my experience in facilities, we would use calcium chloride near the doorways so we didn't rust out the steel door frames, the bottoms of the steel doors, and the aluminum thresholds as fast. It will corrode them. It also does less damage to the carpet. When you first come in, you can put water hogs and whatnot in the foyers to kind of soak some of that stuff up. but it does less damage to the carpet. So I'm not saying that the blends or the straight magnesium, potassium, or calcium chloride aren't corrosive. They're just less corrosive.
Mm-hmm.
But for things like the De-Icer and stuff, you can buy that online, get it at Amazon. If you have Prime, you don't pay shipping. So you're not, even if it costs more to ship it, you're not paying the shipping.
Yeah, because they're saying in some areas where they just don't carry. Yeah, just get a bag and just have it around for that rare occasion. So when it happens, you're not stuck without it, you know?
Or if you live in one of these places where, you know, you've got the tourist attractions and the warm weather, have your family who doesn't live there buy one and just put it in the closet or something. And then when they come down to see you, if they drive down, you know, for the week, bring it with. It's just like when I bring a bottle of Michigan wine or something to people out of state so they can try something from where I'm at.
Dude, it's good.
It's no trouble. If y'all need me to bring you a bag of ice melter.
What's really nice is when your friends from Michigan bring you multiple bottles of Michigan wine. That's what's really good. So, dude, you guys got some good wine going on up there.
Well, you know, that's the one thing. We grow fruit in this state, and that's something that people don't know about. But see, you know, with the frost and stuff, we don't have the growing season that they've got out in California or Florida, where they can grow it a lot longer. I mean, Calaveras, don't they get like two crops out there in California because the weather's so good?
Depends on what type of plant, first of all. That's for, but there's some of the crops, they can get a couple crops a year.
Citrus is year round, isn't it? Basically. I mean, I've got my uncle's mom lives out in Oxnard, and she's got some citrus trees in her backyard that produce lemons and limes and grapefruit, I think, year round.
Nice.
Yeah.
It does depend partly on where you are. That's for, you know, if you're far enough south, you can get it basically growing year round. If you're too far north, then obviously the weather gets too harsh in the winter.
We're having a fierce discussion about windshield washer fluids over the YouTube chat right now. I did finally switch over to the Rain-X stuff. I got 2 1-gallon jugs at Costco for like $8. It's the orange Rain-X, and that stuff's been working great. That's what I've been running because my tank finally ran out from when I bought my car a year ago because I hardly ever had to use the windshield washers. And I filled it up, and it's just that stuff works great. It works really good.
Yeah, don't buy the cheap stuff. I was out of it. I stopped by a gas station. It was supposed to be rated for like 20 below zero. During this last weather,
it's water with food coloring in it.
Yeah, during this last storm, that was the only thing I had, and it froze.
If you're at interstate speeds and it's starting to freeze on your windshield or highway speeds, you're like, we shouldn't be going that fast. Well, no, in Nebraska, we go 60 until you can't, right? Like, it'll start to freeze on your windshield if your defroster can't keep up.
Yeah, that's where, it kind of.
Did you lock up?
That's where it kind of makes me mad. That's where, like you guys talk about, like the good windshield washer fluid and whatnot. It makes me mad when you can't get some of that stuff in certain places. That's for, like here in Northern California, it's like, oh well, you're in the valley. You don't need anything that goes below 32 degrees. Like hell, not all of us live our entire freaking life in the valley bottom. Some of us want to go travel.
Well, isn't all the stuff in California made from liberal tears?
Yeah.
But in that situation,
that would freeze at about 50 degrees.
Yeah, you can get that. You can get the good washer fluid on Amazon too. I mean, as long as you have Amazon, man, you can get a lot of this stuff you can get online.
You might pay more, but can you get it any other way? You might be paying 2 to 3 times more for it, but you can get it. Really. That's what's important. So it depends on the season. Like that De-Icer, when it was out in our area, it was going for like $50 a bag on Amazon. Because you had resellers that were selling it. Because
the resellers, if you buy from Amazon, you're going to pay the same amount as what you would pay at Walmart for it.
Mm-hmm. And there are people that probably think they'll never need a snow brush. They don't keep a snow brush in their car. This is another thing. We rotate out seasonal. It's in the vehicle right in the fall, and then late in the spring we take them out. We put them in the shed.
I keep mine until June. I put it back in September. I have it hanging in the garage. I got the brush in the snow
closet or somewhere where you can get to it. And then just like the ice melter being on clearance, the end of the year the snow brushes are on clearance. If yours is starting to look ratty, go ahead and get one at the end of the year on clearance and just put it in the coat closet for next year, and you're good to go. But the thing is, though, people that live down south might not say, I don't need a snow brush. I don't need an ice scraper. We were talking about those things from K-Bar last week, right? K-Bar has a small ice scraper. So you can get a small, easy to store. You can put this thing in your glove box, for Pete's sake. American-made ice scraper. No, it's not going to reach all the way across your truck. But if you use an ice scraper once a year, it might not be a bad thing to throw in your glove box or in your trunk or something like that because it's so small and it's inexpensive and it's easy to store. So that's something to consider if you wouldn't normally have a snow brush.
Yeah. For those of you out there who aren't used to the cold weather, if you have ice on your windshield, do not throw hot water.
No.
You may not have a windshield anymore.
Yes. Defense Dad, no, we can't hear you. You might be muted. Why don't you go ahead and say something, Defense Dad?
Oh, that was from way earlier.
Now, you were saying best ice scrapers have a brass blade. I thought I scraped my windshield up really bad the one year I had one of those. A brass blade. I remember screwing up my windshield with. I had an old one that my grandpa gave me.
You got to be careful with them, but as long as you keep it straight, those are the ones that work the best.
I would not put metal on glass like that. No.
Maybe back in the day it was a bigger, maybe I guess if you, like you said, if you don't angle it, you just go straight. But I think I screwed up one of my windshields on one of my cars back in my teenage years when I got one of those. My grandpa, he's like, here, this will go through anything. Sure did.
I really keep those. I've never messed a windshield up with them.
Okay. Yeah, green with squib. I've got the brush, the long, like little 2 foot long one with the brush on one end and the scraper on the other. Mine was made in Canada, so I figure if they know how to make a snow scraper, I'm gonna buy that one. So
Yeah, a lot of the snow brushes they sell in the stores around here are made in Canada.
Yep, Canadian States of America. They've got an aluminum handle on them. I get the aluminum ones instead of the plastic ones. I think they hold up a little bit better. Well, yeah, the plastic ones are pretty thick. They work pretty good too.
The handle's cold when you go out there.
No, mine's got foam. Mine has foam with mine's got grip zone on it. It's got grip zone with foam. So I should do a review on it.
You should.
I should Gen 3 Glock ice scraper, Another thing to consider too, people, if you're going to be traveling into a snowy area, I finally bought a little travel shovel. It's like a full-size shovel, but it will compact down to like a third of the size, and I'd throw it in the backseat of my car. I've got a dog carrier canvas in the backseat of my car, so I can throw stuff in there like a truck. And I have that because if I got stuck in an intersection or something when I'm trying to get to work, I've only got 7 inches of ground clearance with my vehicle. So if I had to go through something and got stuck, I'd want to have a shovel so I could do something to try to get it free. Also, Glock makes a folding camping shovel, and so does SOG, S-O-G. You should have one of those in just like your emergency bag in your trunk. I've got a duffel bag that's got all my traveling supplies in it for emergencies. Med kit, lights, orange vest, gloves. I've seen some pretty nasty accidents on Interstate 80, so I always want to make sure I've got stuff in case I'd have to help somebody or keep myself alive so I don't get hit on the side of the interstate. But the folding shovel, I want to get one of those Glock shovels because they look like they'd come in pretty handy and they're small.
Do you have to swap out the handles and mess up with the blade to make it run better?
It's
perfection right out of the box. So
you got to change the sights on. They come with cheap plastic sights, and they will break the first time you get a shovel.
Now, Vanessa says she uses a brass blade for ice alone, and then she uses plastic ones, just for snow or for light, whatever. Yeah.
For the freezing rain, is that the brass ones work better?
Yep. Yeah, and you're talking about stuff to keep in your trunk. A bag of cheap kitty litter, especially if you have a rear-wheel drive car, it'll help.
Weight and then just some traction if you need to use it.
Yeah, if you got to use it, if you're stuck in ice, you can put the kitty litter underneath your tires if you can get it under. If you can get under there, and then that'll give you some traction on ice, so you can get moving.
Gloves. Don't forget gloves, like the Hardy ones that we get at Harbor Freight for $9. Those are perfect for working on your vehicle. You can still get a good grip on stuff, and you can toss them if you ruin them. You can machine wash them if you have to. So,
that's another thing. I'm wondering how many people down there have 2-wheel drive pickup trucks, not 4-wheel drive pickup trucks.
A lot of people do. There's a lot of 4-wheel drive. A lot of SUVs have all-wheel drive now. A lot of crossovers do, but they don't have the clearance to get through a foot of snow.
I will never buy a pickup truck that doesn't have 4-wheel drive. Never.
I'm kind of on the fence. It depends if I think I need to use it for winter driving, because I'm not going to be in any place with that truck. I mean, for me, I would want it more as a beater, a hauler. But range trips when it's nice out.
Going up a hill on a dirt road or in the mud or.
And 4-wheel drive is great, but I've seen way too many people. They got a 4-wheel drive truck, but they don't want to pay the money for the good tires, so they've got blue pass tires on it, and the 4-wheel drive is useless.
Yes, and I have had the 4-wheel drive go out on my 4-wheel drive truck, but I had those tires, and I got the truck unstuck twice I got it stuck in 4-wheel drive. I got it unstuck. The first time I broke the 4-wheel drive trying to get it unstuck, and I ended up getting it out in 2-wheel drive, and it was the tires. The second time, the 4-wheel drive went out, and I had a snowplow run me into a ditch, and I kept rocking it back and forth, and I dug myself out because I had those tires. They're also 10-ply, so I can run over nails, and the tires don't go flat, too.
Another piece of advice for people that have modern cars, whatever. If you're driving through snow and you get stuck, turn off the traction control. It's got the little squiggly lines on a road. Push the button so the light comes on, turn it off, because when you're trying to get your vehicle out when it's stuck, your wheels start spinning. The traction control kicks in, which makes the brakes kick in because it thinks you're sliding. So you're never going to get the traction you need to get out. So make sure you turn off learn how to turn it off in your vehicle. I wouldn't say don't turn it off unless you get stuck, okay? Because, I have it on my vehicle, and it does come in handy. But turn that off so you can't get out, especially if people are trying to rock you out. You're trying to, power through some stuff. Because as soon as your engine detects wheel slip, it's going to start braking automatically. You're never going to get out. So a lot of people don't realize that with their car. If you can turn off traction control, you should be able to. Definitely do so if you get stuck.
Well, and 4-wheel drive is good, but it's not a must. I had an 86 Chevy half-ton for 11 years. It was 2-wheel drive. If you know how to drive, you can get in the stuff. If you grow up around it, you can get around it. I did have a little jig I made in the back that sat in front or behind the wheel well, and it held 4 sandbags. But yes, 4-wheel drive it's nice, but it's not a must. Although I will say the older 2-wheel drives were heavier and they did a little better.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. ZU says they're just giving away winter supplies this time of year. I don't know. Maybe after this winter, maybe not so much, but I've always noticed Walmart in the spring, they clearance out the winter stuff. 25 pounds of sidewalk de-icer for $8.99. 50 pounds of de-icer for 25 pounds for $6.99. 50 pounds for $8.99. Normally $20 a bag. Yeah. And then the other stuff, I'm kind of on the fence about this. The Prestones Aerosol de-icer. Whenever I get it, it doesn't. I'll have super thick ice on the windshield. I spray the windshield with it. You turn your defroster on max. But it doesn't seem to make much of a difference versus just letting the car sit there and thaw the windshield naturally. So I do buy cans of that because Walmart will mark it down to $1 a can. It's the yellow can that's got the scraper on it, and it's got the de-icer in it. But you use a whole freaking can trying to do your windshield one time. So, and if you have that in your car, it might be so cold that the propellant won't work in that spray. So I'll keep it in the house and then grab it if I know I'm going to be on the road and I might be running into freezing rain. But if you have that in your trunk, there's a chance it's not going to work. So that's something that you should think about doing too. So, but now here we are. We're talking about the winter stuff. This is all maybe preventative stuff for next year. So maybe take some notes or pick up some stuff so you're ready for next year. You could still have a spring storm. Nebraska, we can still have snow through basically April. We've had snow in May before.
Yeah, don't underestimate the ability of March to have a major blizzard. But when we were talking earlier about the 92 and 96 in Pittsburgh, both of those storms hit in the middle of March. So just because we're warming up a little bit now doesn't mean we're done with winter yet, folks.
That's the nasty snow. The spring stuff is bad because you've got so much more humidity, so much more moisture in the snow. You get more slushier stuff, heavier snow, sometimes more deep snow just because it's not quite so light and fluffy and flaky, I guess, if that makes sense. There's a different kind of snow we get in Nebraska when it's sub-zero. It's more powder than it is when it's a spring snow where it's just like slushy, basically. Yeah.
What we got in 92 and 96 in Pittsburgh was heavy, powdery snow that packed, and it was packing itself down as it was falling. You could walk out my mother's front door and walk across the porch and then walk across the top of the snowpack.
Oh God. Another thing to consider too, a tow rope for your vehicle. Get a tow rope that's rated for more than the weight of your car. I always had one in the back of my Jeep, and I had to use it a couple times to help friends out. I had one friend that got in the ditch one time when he slid off the road, and he had a 2-wheel drive pickup, and so I was able to pull him back onto the road slowly. But tow rope is a good idea. They don't take up a lot of room when they're sealed in the plastic packaging. They take up this much space, like half a loaf of bread. Throw that in your trunk or throw that in your gear bag if you got to travel. But we're kind of getting away from the idea of the prepping for the house. So let's get back to this then. For spring, what kind of prepping do you guys do for spring storm weather? And Defense Dad, I want to start with you because you and I are in the same place. Flashlights, water, what's kind of your spring prep idea? We have an emergency bag that we can grab if we'd have to leave because of tornadoes. If there'd be a tornado and we had to leave, or after the next day, if let's say the house gets destroyed or the neighborhoods, we have to evacuate. We always have a bug out bag ready with a couple bottles of water, flashlights, pocket knife county maps so we know where the tornadoes are, because in Nebraska they'll call off counties. I'm like, what county is that?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I just do basic stuff like that. You have the flashlights ready, have them charged if they're rechargeable ones. I do have a couple of those solar power banks I keep around. They're just nice to have. It's just some food, some snacks. I mean, if I'm being real honest, if it's just me and if it's not the time I have my kid, I'm one of those idiots who goes around and looks for the tornadoes. But
Nebraskans during a severe thunderstorm, Nebraskans are usually out. We're filming the videos that you see on the internet on the Weather Channel the next day. We're the ones selling the footage to tornadoes.com or whatever stuff people buy. Just
have basic stuff around you're going to need for a power. It's really not that much different than the stuff you have in the wintertime, other than you don't need the extreme cold stuff. Because if you have a tornado here, you're going to lose power. Or there's a good chance you're going to lose power. So, again, have stuff you can cook with wood. Or I grill year round, so I got a place to do that. But mainly that's knowing the safe place to go. And if something happens, the safest place in your house to go in the event of a tornado, and just get there.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say we're pretty much the same way. We've always got that emergency kit ready to go. For a first aid kit, if you don't want to spend a lot of money or you don't have a lot of money and you want a good first aid kit, I recommend going to the Prepper Nurse channel. She did a $20 Dollar Tree med kit, and it was amazing what you can get at Dollar Tree for this. I mean, I actually did I spent a couple bucks more and added a few extra items in it, but I got just a cheap tub at Dollar Tree, and I got lots of good just things you might run into while you're out. It'd be a better setup for me for camping, but it's amazing the stuff I was able to put together for like $20 or $22 at Dollar Tree. So, if you don't know what to get, or you can buy home first aid kits, but you should have something, maybe have extra couple pairs of nitrile gloves in there in case anybody would get injured. It kind of depends on your area and what you deal with. Like if you live in a neighborhood that has a lot of trees and there's a lot of storms, you've always got the risk of a falling tree. Something could happen to a neighbor. It's just given me some peace of mind having these things around the house, even though I've never used them, right? It still gives me some peace of mind that if I had to, I would have exactly what I need to help somebody, And so that's the key. Squib, what about you? Spring storms in Michigan? Do you guys get the crap that we do? The hail, the possibility of tornadoes? What do you guys run into in the springtime? Anything?
we get that. I mean, you guys get more tornadoes than we do, but we get the same stuff. We're about the same latitude or what have you. But I really don't do too much prepping for that. I mean, maybe I'll bring something in from outside or put it in the shed or something if the weather's going to be real bad and I'm worried it's going to get blown across the yard or damaged. There's always the picking up all the limbs in the driveway and stuff like that. I mean, I've got good comprehensive insurance on the vehicles if the tree falls over on them. Like I said, the power goes out on a clear, warm day with no wind. We could get really bad weather and the power might flicker, but I don't know why. Maybe it's just because they've fixed it so many times that they've got it held together really good. I'd say, I'm more concerned about the kind of damage that'll be done to the house or the vehicles really than being in some sort of prepping situation in that where I'm at. But the same sort of things that I would use for power or cooking or what have you in the winter, I would have for the spring.
And I'll say this is what I learned living in a neighborhood with lots of trees around it. I had 2 chainsaws, actually. I had one that was kind of a beater that I would take if I was going to be going, if I needed something a little bit lighter that was more maneuverable. And then I had a larger one that now that I'm not in that home anymore, I've got one of the chainsaws. I still kept it, but my dad's got the other one. I did a video on a steel chainsaw, MS-291, when we took down 2 huge trees in our front yard. Well, had them taken down, and then we did all the processing on the limbs ourselves. Having that was very, very handy. I remember my neighbor, I had an elderly neighbor who lived up the street from me. She had a tree branch that fell across the hood of her car, and she wanted to get that off so she could take pictures of the damage and stuff. So she asked me if I could bring the chainsaw over and just cut that off and get her car freed up, because we would have massive limbs that would drop constantly. And, we've got the neighborhood I lived in, the trees were 60, 70, 80 years old. So they were always dropping stuff, and myself included. There are many times I had to take care of a lot of damage. But if you're a homeowner, spend a couple $100, get a good chainsaw. And then what I did for fuel is I buy the Ceph cans, and I did a video on that too. And I had a couple cans that were 3 years old, and I just recently used them this spring to help out a family member that had fallen branches on her property. And that stuff ran just like a champ. It's all I ever keep in the gas tank of my chainsaws. And that stuff is great. It's like $4 a can at Walmart, but one can, I could do many, many hours of cutting with one can. And that's something to consider too. So if you're a homeowner, get a chainsaw, not an electric one, because there's no guarantee you're going to have electricity if you need to use it. But if you have a branch fall across your door, across your vehicle, in the backyard, you can safely start to cut it up yourself, or you want to get it out of the way. Really consider getting one. I'd say as a homeowner, that's definitely a must if you have trees.
I've had to have trees removed because I'd watched them sway in the wind.
Yeah.
In the spring storm.
Yep.
You'd be like, all right, this thing's got to go. And, I talked to the power company out here too. If it's on my property line, I have to pay for it.
Yep.
If the tree falls over and takes down the power line, they'll replace it. Maybe they'll bill the homeowner's insurance. Maybe they won't. But now if it's out on the street, on the easement, it's their problem. And they'll come up and down the street here.
Trim them.
They'll cut down the limbs and stuff like that. It's real funny.
Yeah.
We've got the county come through for the road. We've got the power company come through for the power. We've got the phone company come through for the phone lines, and we have the railroad come through for the anything hanging over the tracks.
Yeah.
And I talked to one of them one day, and I said, "Why don't you guys just coordinate instead of coming out each week? And one company and just you would think." He goes, "That makes sense. You would think, but they will not pool their resources and just do that and save money." But that's something else you could do yourself as far as sawing down limbs. We had a tree that was rubbing against the side of the house, and it was actually rubbing into the roof there.
Like this, yeah.
So I got up on a ladder and I trimmed the entire backside of that tree to give enough clearance, and even it's going to grow back. So I bought myself some time, and those are just things you can do so you don't have your house damaged. You just kind of have to think ahead.
Another one, I never got to test this because I don't have it anymore, but the Harbor Freight limb chainsaw that they sell, the electric trim saw that they sell is fantastic. It uses a Oregon blade that you can replace for like $10 off of Amazon, and an Oregon bar. And they make, in my opinion, they make pretty good blades. I like Oregon brand as replacements. But for steel, I buy steel blades only for replacements of my chainsaws. But that tree limb trimmer, that thing is so handy because you can use it to cut stuff up, and especially around the house too. I know when we bought our house, there was like 12 feet of a 12-inch diameter branch that was hanging over probably a third of the house. So we ended up having to have that professionally removed, which was a major pain because it's hanging over the house, and wood is very, very heavy. And so once we had that done, then the next summer we had both of those trees taken down, and that's when we did the limb removal and the cutting up and all that stuff. But just little things like that, because if you have that branch fall and take out your electricity, there's a chance it's going to happen to somebody else in the neighborhood. Like in Nebraska, in the old town I lived in, all the power lines were above ground in our neighborhood. So one branch went down, half the neighborhood, half the city would basically lose power, and you had to wait for them to get somebody out to fix the line. So, it's kind of interesting, some of the stuff, especially for the springtime. Think about those things. Make sure you've got a couple little power bricks to charge up your phones. Keep those charged up. They make some solar powered ones, but they do take days to charge. Oh, real quick, I wanted to share this with you. This was something I'm thinking about buying, and I don't know if there's an American company that makes this, but everything I'm finding obviously is on Amazon. It's probably going to be Chinese made. I was thinking about picking this guy up right here. 350 watt max output portable power station. I think it's rated at 296 watt hours. It's got an 80,000 milliamp battery with it, and it's got regular plugs in it. So say in the summertime, if the power goes out, I can plug a fan into it just to get some air in the house. It does have an input on it where you can buy solar panels for it. So you can charge the battery with solar. Yeah, you can't use it while you're charging it, but the solar kit's like an extra $40 or $50.
It's interesting that it has USB. You can actually charge your cell phone off of it. Too.
You got C USB A's on there, 3.1 amps total. It also has, there's your wireless charger up on the top if you have the key or whatever they call it, QI. Well, this little guy right here, it's got a $40 off discount, so you can get it for $180, which seems expensive, but it's an 80,000 watt milliamp battery, and I could 65 watts or 80,000 milliamps is what the battery is rated at. So, I mean, it's amazing this little guy right here, it's got all kinds of different uses and stuff. You can plug all kinds of stuff into it. I was thinking about getting one of these just to have around in case the power goes out, because we could charge both phones. We could plug a fan into it. You got the wireless charger up on top. You got the cigarette lighter socket. It has its own active cooling. If it starts to get hot, it'll turn a fan on.
Yeah, and with that being 350 watts, you're not going to power a desktop computer off of there, but you could power a laptop off.
Oh, yeah, easy. Like I think my school issued MacBook Pro has a 55-watt charger that it draws. So, yeah, you could keep it going to get some work done if you need to. I mean, you're not going to have internet, but still, it has a status panel on the front of it, too, which is pretty cool. It tells you how much juice you have left.
Yeah,
if you have the power flickering off and on, or it's only off for a short time, you can get battery backups. I've got a battery backup on the cable box, on the modem, on the router, on this desktop that I'm on right now. I've got it on the kids' computer upstairs. What I wanted to do was get one and put it on the alarm clock and never did. I need to get around to that. And I can get anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes where I've got the TV going. I'm still watching TV, cable TV. I've still got internet. I've still got Wi-Fi. I've still got all that stuff depending. But that's just a stopgap measure if there's like a brownout or a short power flicker. That way the cable box isn't rebooting and everybody's resetting their internet or what have you. And it's worked out pretty good over the years. The thing is, though, the batteries don't last forever. I need to go down to the battery store and get a whole bunch of 7 amp hour, 12 volt batteries for these things and freshen them up. But the one I've got on the desktop is enough to power a small server long enough to shut it down properly. So, I mean, if you want to invest the money into battery backups and have them, they're real easy to tuck behind a entertainment center, behind a computer desk, or underneath this or behind that, and you don't notice them. It's not a perfect substitute for something, with this much juice or with or a generator or something, but you just maybe you're in an apartment and you don't have a generator or something like that. It's kind of helpful, especially when the power's just flickering because the wind's blowing.
Yeah, with those battery backups, if you have a desktop plugged into it, it's not going to be enough to power your desktop, but it'll be enough to power it long enough.
But you like 5 minutes of runtime, so you can
lose it.
Yep, save and shut down.
Now, see, I've got the monitor, the desktop, the modem, and the router all plugged into this one, and I can get 10 to 30 minutes off of it. But I've got a big one. For the TV, I get about the same, but I've got a smaller one. The cable box and the TV are plugged into that. So I would say, the more you spend, the more time you're buying yourself.
Yeah, but their best bet, if you're using one of those, save whatever you're working on, turn the computer off. Because that's basically what those are for. So make sure you don't lose your work, especially if you're like doing something for work or something or whatnot.
You're editing your YouTube video.
Yeah, editing.
You got to get that export out. Got to save that damn.
Come on, save changes.
All 75 clips are sitting on your desktop. God, give it back up and save.
Hey, when I was in school, man, we were still living down the other place, and I was writing a report. Thank God it auto saved because the power went out because we had a storm come through. And there was no warning. The lights didn't flicker.
I am a habitual saver when it comes to working on stuff. I mean, I know like if you work on Google, it auto saves every couple seconds. But like if you're doing stuff on Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, I back up constantly. So let's see here. What do we got? So Squib, DJ Playnice made a comment. I don't know if it's a comment or more of a question. I bet Squib has a battery backup for his credit card.
The credit card doesn't need power. So
just because you always talk about just use your credit card. Just go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's just it. People are
buy it with your credit card. You'll pay it off.
I can't afford it. No, it's not that you can't afford it.
You choose not to. You choose not to.
Okay,
exactly.
All right, I'm going to give you a good example. And this has a little bit to do with prepping too. Everybody out there who's saying they can't find this gun they want. Everybody who's saying they can't find ammo or ammo is $100 a box. Everybody out there who's saying they can't find parts. Everybody out there that is saying, when is this going to end stuff? You're the people that could have bought this stuff years ago and put it on credit, and the amount of interest you paid paying off that credit is negligible compared to the fact that you either A, can't get it, or B, we're paying 10 times the price right now. So who's laughing now?
We have a viewer out there, and I think this person definitely needs our support. Jake Neal, I just spent $800 on 1,000 9mm rounds. We need a GoFundMe campaign for this person immediately. This guy needs some help. We got to help him put some food back on the table. We got to keep that mortgage payment coming in, Jake. We're going to help you out, buddy.
I picked the wrong time to buy my first 9mm pistols.
X Adam 1. I want to talk to X Adam 1 real quick. He comes through Nebraska. X Adam 1, man, you gotta just give me a holler if we're around and the weather cooperates. We will go do some shooting. We'll go pick up Defense Dad. We'll go meet up with DJ Play Nice. We'll have Sandhill Shooter take a day off of work and come hang out with us. We'll all go to the range and have a good time. Don't worry, I got plenty of ammo. Don't complain about ammo prices. I got your back, bro.
I'm going Tuesday.
There you go. Yeah.
2 years ago, you might not have had $200 cash in your pocket, but that case of 9mm is $200. You put it on your credit card, and by the time you paid it off, you paid $7 in interest.
Yeah. Yeah. In the last year and a half, I've bought 3 9mm right before. I have like no 9mm.
That's it.
I have plenty of 40. I got 40 out the wazoo.
Yeah. Now, Defense Dad, he's got he's got a wife and kids to support. So come on now.
True, I gotta stay out of gun stores.
Yeah, I know. I just bought an upper and a parts kit, and I may or may not be dabbling in 80% lowers now too. So it's just getting expensive. I mean, I don't have like walls, like a wall full of ammunition. Well, I kind of have a wall full of ammunition, but I mean, I don't have like 100,000 rounds of 9 or 100,000 rounds of 223 like Foos. I mean, I can happily shoot off and on if I want to. I mean, I need it to make videos for the channel, so obviously I'm going to have it around. But I wouldn't get those. I wouldn't pay those prices unless I absolutely had to. But again, people that are new or people that just chose not to, now you got to pay the piper. So,
20 gauge. That's another thing I need. I don't have a whole lot of, because I didn't have a 20 gauge shotgun until I got my Shockwave, and right after I got the Shockwave.
Hey, another thing too, quick complaint about prices, consider trading. Maybe you've got something that somebody would trade you for a case of 1,000 rounds. Maybe somebody would trade you one of your guns for a case of 1,000 rounds. I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, but maybe you got an M&P 9 sitting around. Somebody's got 1,000 rounds of 9 or 500 rounds of 9, and just, I mean, really, if 1,000 rounds is selling for $800, 500 for 40, 400, you could negotiate somehow, You
don't trade the M&P, you trade the Glock.
Yeah, there you go. If you got a couple G17 sitting around, you're not using one. I mean, although gun prices, I'm noticing they're starting to kind of go back, depending on where you're looking. But a lot of the main distributors now, the prices are starting to get a little more back to kind of where they were. I'm noticing the AR prices are dropping down to like the $600 range now. I'm seeing Shields, Smith & Wesson Shields coming back. Shield 9's coming back for like $349, where they were going, $449, $499 when they were starting to peak out. One of the guns I want to buy, the CZ 527 and 762x39, it's $1,000 now over on Gunbroker if I want one, and that's one of the only places you can find one. And that's the one that has the field sights on it, because my Ruger Ranch doesn't have one. But the Ruger Ranch and 762x39, those are going for $600, $700, $800 used on Gunbroker. So, you just got to be patient. Like Squib says, if you pay the price, you will get what you want, but it's just maybe not the price you want to pay. So, but the fact is, you can basically get whatever you want online now if you really do the looking around for it.
If you don't want to pay $1 or $2 per round, it's really easy to get around that. You just don't go shooting.
Mm-hmm. Or just wait till you get your stimulus check. Wait till you get your stimulus check and then go buy what you want.
Don't go shooting. Who invited him?
No, seriously, it's not. I mean, I don't understand the mentality of almost like a crack addict. If I don't go to the range every week, I'm going to forget how to use a gun. I'm not saying you don't get rusty or anything, but I've had times in my life where it wasn't conducive for me to go to the range. And when I did go back, it was nothing to get caught back up. I guess there's some people out there that don't know which end the bullet comes out of or something, but it's really, don't get me wrong, it's fun. And yeah, when you get a new gun, you want to test it out, especially if you want to do it within the warranty period, or if you're a YouTuber and this is the thing, because people love to watch other people do something they can do themselves. I get that.
You're gonna ruin the secret.
I get that, but the thing is, if it's that expensive and you don't want to put it on credit, or you can't find it, or you just say I'm not willing to pay it, then it's simple. Just don't go to the range. Just don't. When this is over, then go to the range.
Hustler of the week is going to have to go to Ghost Shadow over there. I've been trading off Wolf steel case ammo for empty brass. 50 rounds of Wolf for 500 empty brass cases. Few hours and I have 500 loaded rounds. There you go. So you got some barter going on here. Something to consider. So Let's see. Ghost says I have a few boxes of 30-06 that I paid $2.95 per box for. Kind of gives people an idea how long I've collected ammo. Let's see here. Just a couple things again. So consider this as we go into the spring season. Okay, a couple cases of water. I buy some of the I don't even remember what brand it is. Just the little prepper buckets with the 10-year buckets that are shelf stable for 5 to 10 years. Yeah, Wise Food Company. I got enough so my wife and I have enough food for basically 30 days, or me for 60. And so like I got like 6 of these buckets. I think I paid $75 a bucket. If something happens, I mean, granted, you got to have hot water to prep them, but you can mix them with water and eat them if you had to. But I mean, I can heat water with the electricity off. That's not an issue here. But yeah, just get some of those, get some water. Oh, another thing too, this was mentioned earlier. Powdered milk. Get a box of powdered milk. If you know the weather's going to go bad, there's a potential for the electricity to go off or a storm. Go buy a box of powdered milk up at the store. You can mix it with water. You can set it outside and chill it and then drink it, especially if you got winter weather going on. So consider that, because milk is one of the things people complain about, not having milk when the power goes out and stuff like that. So my buddy was complaining about the kids wanted milk. They wanted cereal. He couldn't get a gallon of milk if his life depended on it.
Yeah, the shelf stable stuff, you don't even have to mix it. It's all in a box.
Mm-hmm. And there are people out there who say, I am not drinking pet milk. I'm not drinking powdered milk or whatever. If you had it as a kid, when the power was out for a week and you ate cereal every morning and your mom made powdered milk and put it in your cereal and you didn't know the difference, when you're a grown adult, it's nothing. It's nothing to drink that stuff. I'm not saying it's the best tasting stuff, or I'm going out of my way.
Drink. You got shakes people drink. You got protein shakes people drink. That stuff tastes horrible. I mean, this isn't any different. And
that's what I've noticed is there are people that grew up, they never ate cold food. They never had powdered milk. They never ate camping food. Now they're a grown adult and they want to do prepping things and they go, oh, I'm not eating that. I'm not. It's like the whole Pop-Tart thing. I was like, hot or cold. The few people that did respond, almost everybody's like, I'm eating it hot or I'm not eating it at all. It's like, all right, in the apocalypse, you're going to die, dude. All right. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not going to have an opinion about being hungry. You're just going to eat it,
pull the top off of a can of beefaroni and just eat it right out of the can, cold with a spoon.
It's already cooked.
Yeah.
Stupid question because I don't know. Store-bought eggs. Will they spoil if they sit at room temperature or not? Because I know farm eggs sit out. I've seen farm eggs for sale on tables at work and farmers markets and stuff. What's the thing on eggs?
I've had more than one person who has their own chickens tell me that they can leave their fresh eggs out at room temperature and it's fine, but don't do it with store-bought eggs because of
I can't remember.
It's the fact that they've been cold so long or how old they are. They're not as fresh as fresh. So too bad roll call isn't here. But I can't remember the reason why.
Yeah, it has to do with the temperature because of them being cold. And it's like anything cold. Once it's cold, you can't leave it out at room temperature for long periods of time or else it'll start to go bad.
Yeah, because that was the biggest issue my buddy had was trying to find milk. He ended up having to do a 40-mile round trip. I think he ended up buying it of all places at a Dollar Tree because Dollar Tree has, they have cold cases in some of the Dollar Tree stores. And he ended up going 20 miles and got it a 40-mile round trip. And that's where he found his gallon of milk. So like of all places, because that place happened to have electricity when the rest of his town did not. But he had to wait a couple days. You got the kids complaining and this and that. And, I mean, just little things that you need to think ahead on. I think is very important. Obviously, the med kit's a big one. We talked about cooking and propane and things along those lines. And it all kind of depends on what kind of conditions you're going to be living under. Is it going to be sub-zero or is it only going to be 15 or 20 or 30 degrees with a foot of snow outside? Get yourself a good shovel. Make sure you have something, especially if you're going to travel, plan ahead. Make sure you take some bottles of water with you if you're going to be traveling. So if you get stranded on the road, if it's bad and there's a massive pileup, it could take hours for somebody to get to you, or it could take, who knows how long to get you out of your vehicle. So it's always a good idea to do so. Vanessa says, put your dang eggs in the cold. Well, I mean, yeah, you can set them outside if you had to also, if it wasn't below freezing.
Until the raccoons get into them.
Well, yeah. Well, we got a patio, so we can put stuff on our porch from the second story where we live. So we could go that route, but they'd probably get up there too. So, yeah. Cold Pop-Tarts were the only way in the Navy. There you go. Pop-Tarts are nice to have. Have some comfort foods, man. Get some cookies. Get some stuff to make. I can cook some s'mores over a candle if you had to, I do have, I don't know how safe or how good this is, but I do have a flat of Sterno that I bought at Sam's Club. I've got like 25 cans of Sterno. Just because you see people like, you heat your buffet trays with them and stuff like that.
Yeah, we used that for camping when I was a kid.
Does that work pretty good if you just have a little frame to set a pot on? I mean, one of them will heat. Well, I don't know if it'll heat up to boiling, but it does put out a pretty decent amount of heat. You just got to be really careful with it.
We would heat up water for like ramen or Lipton cup of soup and what over a
and that doesn't produce carbon dioxide, right? So your carbon monoxide, you'd be okay using that indoors because they do it parties and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, like you said, they use it for like buffet tables and stuff. I mean, so yeah, it's not something that you need a lot of ventilation to use.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something, but be very careful with it because it's highly flammable, obviously. But you can get flats of it at Sam's Club in the commercial catering section for like, I don't know, I got paid $15 for 25 cans. So it was a pretty good deal. Maybe $20 for 25 cans. So so you got a lot of options. Yeah.
Yeah, and they used to actually make camp stoves that were powered by the sterno, so you would put like 3 cans in the stove and you could actually sit a griddle on top and you could cook that way using the sterno cans.
Here's another thing to consider too, especially if we talk about your water supply being hooked up to electricity. I've got 2 of these. We've got 2 Life Straws. I think I bought them just online. You can buy them in 2 or 3 packs. I think they're cheaper if you buy multiple packs. Get a Life Straw. If you've got any kind of water that you can access, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to be able to drink it through one of these and be fine. Obviously, you want to definitely read the instructions and see what they say about it. And there's other brands of these too that are out there, but this is one that I bought a couple years ago. So I have 2 of them, and it provides a couple 100 gallons of water for each person. And for $20, it just gives me a little bit of peace of mind. And they tell you exactly what it filters out. This one will do up to 1,000 gallons of water. Says that's enough for one person for 5 years. I'm not going to say go find a pond like this dude right here and just start sucking out of the stagnant water. I suppose if it was that or death,
no, a ditch will do.
You're okay doing that? You're okay doing that?
No, you said don't go find a pond. No, a ditch will do just fine.
Yeah, there you go. Ditch water. There's no runoff in there. There's no nitrites in there. But like I would do it like maybe on a running stream possibly, but I don't know about stagnant pond water. I'd be a little hesitant about that, but
just use your neighbor's koi pond. You'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go. Sure. Just eat the koi and then drink the water and you're good to go. So
obnoxious one is set in the apocalypse.
Yeah, right. You just drink right out of his water feature.
Exactly. Look at that.
These straws make good stocking stuffers, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Let's see if you buy the multi-packs. Oh my God, you can buy them in packs of 20 if you want to. So do they get any cheaper if you buy 3? Oh, that's just the quantity. I thought maybe they're going to give like a quantity discount. So got some good suggestions coming in over here from the YouTube side here. What else do we got? Hang on 1 second. Filter, boil, sanitize the water with pure Clorox or the iodine-based one. Yeah, you should always have a gallon of bleach or Clorox around the house, just because we saw that stuff sell out during the early stages of the pandemic. So, that's something that can sell out. You should always have a gallon of that around. I don't know what the mix ratio is to purify water with bleach or to make it so it's drinkable, or what the process is. I probably should learn that. But
we would put Clorox in the gallon when we had the 55-gallon drums in the bathroom, just to keep the water from getting all nasty.
Yeah. Vanessa says, know how to find water sources in the wild. Remember that the parasites from live animals will make you regret sipping from that cold spring. Yep. My dad had a fun experience with that. He was drinking off of a mountain stream. We were in Colorado. He pulled over on the side of the road and just started taking like handfuls of water and drinking it as we were going up the mountain. And he had some issues for a couple of days after that. He's like, oh, pure mountain water. It's like pure mountain poo, man.
Stuff runs downhill.
Well, I mean, this was the top of the mountain. This was like 12,000 feet. We're going up to the top of Trail Ridge in Estes Park, Colorado. And there's just water just running over the road. He's like, oh, I got to drink some of this. He thought it was like Mountain Dew water or something. I don't know what it was, man. It was hilarious. Yeah, Dad, don't do that. I mean, I knew better at 8 years old not to do that. All right.
Yeah, we got natural springs around here that are actually labeled by the state as being safe for drinking purposes in an emergency. Yep. You'll see people driving and filling gallon jugs of water from these natural springs,
which you can do to wash if you have to. And that's another thing too. Washing and keeping clean.
These are safe for consumption.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Make sure that your source is clean that you're putting it in, of course. But
it is ice cold water. Even in the summer, that water is always ice cold.
Keeping clean, consider getting a couple boxes of like wet wipes just to wipe yourself off if you don't have electricity and don't have running water and can't clean yourself any other way. You can always just use, bottled water and whatever, a washcloth or whatnot. But if you got kids or you need to stay clean or sanitary, that's always a good idea. Pick up a couple tubs of wet wipes. SS Pond is out there. He goes, who needs sterno? I eat my SpaghettiOs right out of the can. Exactly. Go Shadow says, hunting. All I need is a sledgehammer. I've got deer on my back porch. Posted photo at NEA Discord, Animal Goodness. So there you go. If you got the animals walking right up to the back door, right? Oh man, all kinds of fun stuff. Canned ravioli straight from the can. Good times. We should do like a canned prepper food, shootout. Like a what do you call them? Like the little, what are those things called again, guys? The brackets. We need to do like a canned food prepper food bracket. Have like Spam, SpaghettiOs, Pop-Tarts. Might just have to do that at some point. So
Chef Boyardee ravioli.
Chef Boyardee ravioli is so good. It's so. Oh no, for me it's Hormel chili or Wolf chili. Either one of those two, with or without beans.
When I make up my chili, I will throw the Hormel chili into it just to get that flavor in there.
Oh heck yeah, definitely, man. That's definitely the way to go. I love that.
Take the no bean stuff and make chili mac with it.
Ooh, that's a good idea. There's a recipe video for you.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Heck yeah, man.
It's great for hot dogs too, man.
Oh God, good stuff.
Hot dog sandwiches.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. Hot dog is a sandwich by its definition.
Hot dogs are not sandwiches. You
heathens. It is. If you look at the technical definition of a sandwich, a hot dog is to a sandwich. I don't know why we have to keep arguing this. It's meat between two slices of bread.
There, it's a chili dog sandwich.
It's a miniature submarine sandwich. Come on.
It really is.
A hot dog sandwich in a restaurant, and the cook's going to spit in your food because you're a moron.
What kind of restaurant do you go to where their finest dining is hot dog sandwiches?
Nebraska.
There's a hot dog shop here.
I cooked in restaurants for years. You ask for certain stuff, the cook's going to mess with your food because they think you're
a hot dog sandwich is something you buy on the way out of Home Depot at Frank's a lot,
Yeah, we got an actual hot
Costco
dog shop here in town, man. They got on the board, it says sandwiches. Under sandwiches, you got cheeseburgers, club sandwich, hot dog.
Does it say hot dog sandwich or does it say hot dog?
It's under sandwiches.
My grandma made me hot dog sandwiches when I was a kid. You cut the hot dogs in half lengthwise and put them on toasted bread with mayo. That's a hot dog sandwich.
Oh, mayo.
No, I looked at when I looked at the Webster's definition of a sandwich. You guys keep talking. I'm going to look this up real quick. So
all right. Look, all it requires is bread. Okay, meat, bread. What you do in between that is up to you. So the actual frank, the wiener, the sausage, the whatever you want to call the piece of processed meat that makes up the hot dog is a hot dog. As soon as you put it on that bun, bread, hell, I don't care, a tortilla wrap, it's a sandwich.
I don't care what y'all say. Y'all are suspect.
So here's what we have. The technical definition of sandwich, according to Merriam-Webster: composite structural material consisting of layers, often of high-strength facings, bonded to a low-strength central core. That sounds exactly like a hot dog in a bun, if you ask me. All right.
I was very scientific.
Do you guys ask for taco sandwiches when you go to a Mexican restaurant?
It says no. Listen, Merriam-Webster says. Hear me out. Don't steal my thunder. We have a split roll having a filling in between. All right. So what is a bun? It is a split roll. What does it have in between? It has a filling. Now, granted, it's a tube steak, but it doesn't make any difference. That is the definition of a sandwich. The dictionary we've trusted to provide our language to us for our lives tells us that a sandwich is a split roll with a filling. I rest my case, Your Honor.
This man is the teacher. It's kind of hard to...
I rest my case, Your Honor. Now, what were you saying about a taco sandwich? No, we have taco sandwiches. Remember, Taco John's makes it. They put the taco filling on a hamburger bun.
I'm just saying, a hard shell taco is the same shape as a hot dog bun, technically.
But a tortilla is not a split roll.
Okay, let's take the taco. Let's all do the taco sandwich challenge. Let's all go to the drive-thru at Taco Bell. Let's turn on our phone and record us asking for a taco sandwich.
Well, they call it a taco burger here in Nebraska at Taco John's.
Yeah, they actually used to have a taco burger there.
Taco burger. It's just the taco fillings on a hamburger bun. So
that's really just a Mexican sloppy Joe. I mean, if you're being real.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, it really, because you've got those taco. Well, I mean, okay, so the taco filling that Taco John's uses isn't exactly Mexican. I mean, it's it's kind of cheating. Ground beef. No, I don't know about that, but
DJ Nice throws out a interesting little tidbit. In some jurisdictions, hot dogs are sandwiches legally.
Exactly. I mean, if you go to Subway and just get a bologna sub sandwich, that really is just a big hot dog when you think about it, because they don't cut the bun in half completely, and it's called a sandwich. The bologna is basically the same material as a cheap hot dog. It really is the same stuff when you get down to it, right? So, I don't know why we keep arguing this. Everybody knows that a hot dog is a sandwich. I mean, that's what it is. I have spoken. This is the way. All right. Defense Dad, no, don't you say it's not a sandwich and then leave my podcast. No.
I know, right?
He's like, all right, I'll be back in a minute. It's not a sandwich. Oh, God. Okay, so what do we have here? Poor Conservative says store-bought taco shells are always split. Yeah, they're usually broken when I get them, the hard corn ones. Yep, because people don't know how to stock them and they drop them, basically. What type of wrap for taco, corn tortilla, flour tortilla? You could argue that the flour tortilla is basically like a bread source, because you've got a lot of similar ingredients.
The corn tortillas are technically a type of bread as well, especially if you don't have the ones that are baked to where they're hard or
now
hard.
Is a tortilla bread? That is the big question. Let's see what the definition of bread is.
You're a Spanish teacher. Have you ever had an actual soft corn tortilla?
Yeah, I actually have some in my fridge right now. Yeah, I mean, we cook them before we eat them.
They're
basically bread dough. They taste exactly like bread dough. Well, you don't use corn. You don't necessarily use cornmeal based in bread unless you're making cornbread.
Well, it's a flatbread. If you look up it, I don't know if they changed the definition because they're constantly changing definitions in dictionaries. But if you look up tortilla, one of the definitions is a flatbread.
Yeah, it says definition of bread: a usually baked and leavened food made of mixture whose basic constituent is flour or meal. So you really could say that the tortilla is actually bread, or I mean, metaphorically, people refer to it as their daily bread. The tortilla in many Spanish-speaking countries.
At the way they make, if you watch the cooking shows and stuff, and you see the way that they make them in Mexico, particularly southern Mexico, where they're cooking them on a flat iron, it looks like they're cooking just bread dough that's been flattened. It does. They are flatbread.
Gizzard Gary's got a good one here. A hamburger is a sandwich, but nobody calls it that when they order it. Still a sandwich by anybody's definition. And hamburgers usually fall under the sandwich portion of a menu. So you could argue that the hamburger is of the sandwich origin, right?
Well, the hamburgers get more confusing because originally they weren't sandwiches. Americans made them sandwiches. If you get a traditional hamburger, the German way that they made them, it was just a meatball cooked with onions. Mm-hmm. It was we made those into sandwiches because we make everything sandwiches over here.
G23 says tortas de lengua. Yeah, so the torta is the classic Mexican sandwich. You've got the bolillo bun that has, you could almost argue, your traditional street taco filler and ingredients on it. You guys got to go get a torta. If you never had a torta before, they're absolutely fantastic. Slices of avocado on there. You got some onions, some chili sauce. Got your meat going on. A little bit of mayo, right? Very good stuff. Very good. And I'm sorry we've gotten away from the prepper talk, but you should probably prep and have this stuff anyway, so that way you can feed your kids hot dog sandwiches if they get hungry and the power goes out, right, Defense Dad? All right. So anyway, this conversation has taken a 180 from what the intention was. I think we covered the important information for today. I think we've gone through what people need to know to get themselves ready. It was a fun, kind of lighthearted chat, but again, a very serious topic, talking about the weather and what happened, and just hearing my family in other states talk about what they went through, just some basic things that you need to be safe and get yourself ready. And again, if you go back, if you want like a serious hardcore prepper chat, go to episode 7 of Caliber Corner when we were all much younger and I was much skinnier. And you can listen to what we talked about, talking about food stores and food saves and different prepper ideas. So go back and listen to that Caliber Corner episode because we covered it in quite a bit of detail. I think we went for like 3 hours. But anyway, just some ideas. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Let's go ahead and let the panel throw out a final few plugs here before we close this one up. So, Rich White, I'm going to start off with you. Anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, be sure to check out the wrestling chat we talked about earlier tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Unloaded Media channel. I almost said the Outlaw Hatfield, but that's where you're supposed to have it. But again, with Ellis's issues, and if you have a way of contacting Ellis, just drop him a line, let him know you're thinking about him. The guy is in real bad shape right now. And tomorrow night we will have This Week Unloaded on the Unloaded Media channel. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, or around about that time for him anyway. So check those out.
Got you, man. All right, definitely. All right, Calaveras, anything to say before we go?
Just that I appreciate the invite, and it was a good chat.
All right, cool, man. Make sure you guys check out Calaveras' channel too. Squibby, anything to say before we go?
I've enjoyed consuming this pot of coffee during the show. I feel much better than I did at the beginning.
You sound
Thank
much
you.
better than you did at the beginning. Yes, I'm glad that we can we got to give you an hour to thaw out, and then after that, you're back to your fighting weight, right? Yeah.
I sound like you at the beginning of the show.
Oh man, then you sound like me at the end of the show, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
So now you're going to go live too, Squib, right? You're going to go have another show this. Are you going to continue the food chat or something? Is that the plan? Is that the plan?
No. Okay.
I'm
I'm going to shoot a cocktails with Squib today, and I'll probably shoot 2 unboxings. I got everything set up, and then I don't know. I might shoot a 4th video. See, here's the thing. What I'll do is I'll take some time on a Saturday and Sunday, and I'll shoot a whole bunch of videos. Then I'll edit them during the week over coffee before I go into work, because I work nights. And then I'll put them in the studio and just schedule them, and then they just pop up. Like the video that I published last night, I think I shot that 3 weeks ago.
Oh my God!
Right, so some of the stuff is out of order. I mean, I put out a video like a week or 2 ago that I shot last April. So when I'm talking as if it was April, and I didn't think about that. So it sounds out of sequence. It sounds like I think I brought up the date, and it sounds like I'm talking about something in the future or the past or something like that. And so I went back and I put in the description section, shot April, whatever, yeah, that's the magic of the internet, people.
I've got a quick little comment for who is this? Somebody told me that it's blasphemous to call. He said a torta is not on a bolillo bread. Blasphemous, says X Adam 1. Adam, I'm going to drop some Google foo on you here. Go ahead and read that Go ahead and read that definition, and we could argue this one, X Adam. We could argue this one over a couple plates of some tortas if you want to. So, yeah, I said
a torta or a tortilla.
No, torta sandwich. It's a sandwich. It's like a meat-filled sandwich. You use your taco filling basically, and you make a sandwich out of it. So, yeah. No,
Wait,
tortas are amazing. They're amazing.
Can you take a soft-shelled tortilla and just put in seasoned ground cooked meat, and it's a torta?
No,
I mean,
no.
isn't it
The torta, in my opinion, to make a torta, you have to have the bolillo bun, which is a very specific bun that you use, or that's the popular bun that's used in Mexico to make the tortas. Or at every Mexican restaurant I've ever gone to and taco truck I've ever gone to, use a bolillo bun, which is like a soft French bread bun. If you look them up online, if you ever get a chance, go find a little mom and pop Mexican restaurant and get yourself a carne asada torta, dude. You'll be totally ecstatic. So you got to like avocado, you got to like mayonnaise, you got to like chili sauce and tomato. Lettuce and onion, but they're absolutely delicious. Destroy anything you're going to get at McDonald's completely, totally. So anyway, where were we with the goodbyes here? Calaveras, thanks for stopping by, buddy. We didn't get a chance to get to you. Squid, anything you want to say before we go? You said you're going to do the cocktails video.
I'm just spending the day shooting videos.
Okay.
That's all. No, nothing really to announce. Just
Okay.
This is what I do on my weekends when the weather sucks, and I mean it's sunny out, but it's still there's snow everywhere. There's nothing I mean I could do a brake job, but I'll do that later when it's a little bit warmer.
Yeah. All right, and for me, I'm going to be a little thin on the content, just as a heads up. I'm not going to be able to get out to the range until next week, but I'm going to do probably 3 or 4 range videos. Going to burn through some ammo, and I've got a lever gun that I've got an optic on that I need to get sighted in. I've got a pistol I want to test out. I think I've got another rifle that needs to be sighted in. Hopefully, I'll have my upper. Though that was a question we had real quick. DD, we'll get to you in a second here. I bought from PSA. I got a really good deal. Good deal for now. I've got the mid-length. It was just a phosphate complete upper. Mid-length with the mid-length handguard. I like the look of that. With the Magpul M-Bus flip-up rear sight, bolt carrier group, and a complete parts kit with Magpul furniture and the EPT trigger for $529 delivered. So that's a little crazy on price, but they only had one of those in stock, and I went back and looked it up, and the next closest thing was starting at $549 without free shipping. So I got it for $529 delivered with tax. And the reason why is because I've got several lowers and even upper, and I want an upper to test out on the 80% lowers that I may or may not be making at home. So I want something that I can use as a test mule upper for these possible lowers that I may or may not be finishing at home. So, yeah.
Gary threw one out there. I forgot to mention. I was going to say something and I forgot all about it. The hens are going to be having their giveaway coming up soon, so keep an eye on Snob, C4 Defense, and Obnoxious, and Gary's channels for details on that in the next few days. So they're giving away some really cool stuff, including 2 firearms. So
wow. Okay.
So keep an eye on their channels, and they'll have more details about how to enter and stuff.
Sounds good. I'll be doing my giveaway this week too. At some point during this week, I'm going to pick some items up and put it all together, and we'll have a little SS Pawn sponsored giveaway on my channel that we do every month for the patrons. So we'll have a little something. It won't be a firearm, but if I make it to 50,000 subscribers, I may do another firearm giveaway. I did one at 25, I think, or 20,000. We did the Ruger Wrangler last year. So we may have a little something that we give away this year too. Hell, maybe I'll just give away a case of 9mm. That would be big. But anyway, Defense Dad, give us your final plug, man. Anything you want to say before we go?
Oh, no, just thanks for having me. Check out everybody's channels. Hot dogs are not sandwiches.
You say that again, so me, God, I'm going to mute you. No, I'm just kidding. But like I said, looking at you can't argue with the technical definition. You know what? We'll save this for another discussion, another time. I'll meet you at the park in 15 minutes.
I can argue whenever the hell I want to.
You probably win too, and you probably.
I'm in sales for a living. Come on, man.
Can we just agree that hot dogs are damn tasty? Is there just a common consensus that you and I can come to that hot dogs are delicious regardless of what we call them?
Oh yeah, go to Costco, get the big old $1.50.
Dude, I'm telling you,
hot dog. Good stuff.
I know those are freaking amazing with the soda. Or hey, dude, gotta love the red hot dogs. You gotta love the Wimmers and the Fairburys, man. Yeah, that's a Nebraska staple.
Costco sells those hot dogs in the freezer section.
Yeah.
Look, if you don't want to have a hot dog sandwich, just don't use a bun. All right. I think my grandma used to take the hot dog and cut it up in little pieces to feed her Pekingese. So you can eat it like that, right out of the same dish. And it's not a sandwich anymore.
DJ Play Nice, you better quit talking out there on the YouTube side. You're making me so hungry right now, bro. All right, 2 Live Moose says hens giveaway, grips, knives, ammo, 2+ guns, and more stuff and things. There you go. Pork Conservative says York, Nebraska, home of the balloon water tower. Yes, it is. It looks like a hot air balloon if you drive by it. G23 says Tortas de Lengua is the best. Yes, they are.
Each of the guns that they're giving away in the hens giveaway is going to come with ammo so that you can shoot it.
Oh, no, that's nice. You're not just getting the car, you're getting the gas to go with it, too. I like that. I just want to make sure we don't miss anything. G23, you said you got a show coming up today, right? What time was that again? I was going to go back and find your message where you mentioned that. Also, Rick's Life as I See It, is he having an episode today, too?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, he is.
Okay, what time does that usually start? Is that
3
That's 3 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters.
No, 2 o'clock Central Time for people that are actually sane. So okay.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you there. What'd you say?
What was that? What? 2 p.m. Central Time for those of us that are sane. So, but yeah, G23's got a show coming up today too. Also, I don't know where your time frame went, buddy. What time was your show? So, all right. So anyway, let's give a little shout out to everybody watching on the YouTube side. Again, many thanks over there to SS Pawn, DJ Play Nice, The Poor Conservative, X Adam 1, Bernie Sanchez, Ghost Shadow. I paid $50 for 80% lowers from EP Armory back in 2016. Ghost, you don't want to know what I may or may not have paid for 80% lowers. Who else is out there? Tim Foley's with us, 2 Live Moo, G23, Poor Conservative is out there also watching this evening. M. Gabriel joining us. I think Young Gun 995 was out there. Vanessa Kitty. Vanessa, thank you for your contribution to the chat. There's a lot of good information that you put out there too. Let's see, Ghost Shadows out there. Snake Doctor 78, Squibload over there and over here. I think Scott P79 was out there too. I don't know. So many people. Hopefully covered about everybody. Didn't miss anybody. So, all right, guys, we'll go ahead and call it. And Calaveras 32 special and Jake Neal. Calaveras, thanks for being over here, buddy. I saw that you had to take off, but maybe we'll get you next week. So anyway, this has been Caliber Corner. Episode number 177, Season 3 Prepping 101. Are you ready for the next natural disaster? I think you will be after watching this episode. Guys, I want you to have fun, be very, very safe. And as you know, we will talk to you next week, all right? So get out to the range and go do some shooting. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia.
Adios, Felicia. Adios, Felicia. Hey, Felicia, can I borrow some 9mm? All right.